Good evening, everybody. Welcome along to this, the International Sim Drivers Association's 2 hours of Zolder. This is round 5 of the Spring Sprint Cup series. So 2 hours this evening, so 1 hour longer than normal. So it should be a really good one. It's going to be some beautifully close and tight racing. It should be staying reasonably dry with a few clouds in the air, but pretty cool as well, supposedly around the 13-degree mark. So it should be a really good one here this evening. We're just having a quick look at the overall standings for this season so far, as qualifying is about to begin. So we'll give you a quick idea of the pro standings. So at the moment, Verchez currently leading the championship. Then Bouillon in second place. We've got Mixic in third place. Dan Minton in fourth. This is a name I haven't read before. Jonjic in fifth. Sixth is Aidan Doyle. Seventh is De Couza. Eighth is Borovec. Bellato in ninth position, and rounding out the top 10 is Cameron Drake. He's in the top 10, but he has had a couple. It looks like he had a disqualification at some point. As before, I've missed out on most this season. I do apologise, but I have obviously been beautifully covered by the good Ike. He's covered everything so far this season, so he's been an absolute godsend in that respect. So, having a look at the AM standings. So we've got Sean Buck leading the AM standings, and God, that's a very good dominating lead in the amateur department, isn't it? He's had a first, a fourth, and then another two firsts, so that's some seriously good going. Doyle in second place, Winkler in third, Miljelovic, sorry, I better say this properly, Ivo Miljelovic in fourth, Greening in fifth, Anthony Wilson in sixth, Concoli in seventh place, Robson in eighth, Marko Miljelovic in ninth, so good to see the two brothers up inside the top 10, and Van Coley running up the top 10 of the AM class drivers. So be an interesting one here this evening. Zolder is certainly a circuit that lots of people love, lots of people hate. So fingers crossed everybody here this evening is loving it, not hating it. So 18 minutes of qualifying left. A couple of guys look like they're out on flyers at the moment. We're on board with Brooker for the moment in the 130 Porsche. Still weaving furiously to try and get those tyres up to temperature. So here he goes. He's want to kind of try and get as good a line here as possible. I don't know if that was the best start to a flying lap, but we'll see how it goes. As he comes across the line and he's on to the flyer. So thundering into turn one. Deceptively late apex here, and you don't want to run out too wide, but you want to try and use as much exit curb as possible. Obviously the Porsche a little bit unstable on the curbs, so a bit of a different one there, got to be a bit careful. I'm going to wind the throttle on here, try and gather as much speed as possible so you can carry as much pace as possible down towards the first chicane. So this is the Klein chicane. So this is going to be interesting on lap one. I mean, if anyone can keep it clean, it's going to be these guys here with ISDA, but it's always a very, very racy bit of the circuit. So good exit there. Again, having to be a bit careful with the curbs in the Porsche. So now coming through Butte. And again now into this second chicane, hard on the brakes. Very, very easy to exceed track limits here. Incredibly easy, either on the exit or in the inside. Get your braking wrong and it totally messes it up. And then very easy to go light here over this crest. Holds it together before coming into the brakes on the hairpin. Can he get it done? Seems to be good, but he has got a bit of traffic building up in front of him. Hopefully no one's going to hold him up too much. Here we go, coming up towards the line. What are we going to get? What is Brooker going to set lap time wise? Powers towards the line, does get a really good exit. Louisa going all the way out to the outside. What do we get there? So a 1:30.040, and he still looks like he's on a flyer, catching up with, I think, one of the Miljelovic brothers. Right, so Dan Minton in the 888 Bentley. Lovely black looking livery with those just flecks of blue and white down the side of it. Really good looking. So currently 14th place, but we expect big things from him. I think this might actually be his first flying lap, so we'll see how this goes. Oh, someone sat there off the circuit at the moment in one of the Lamborghinis. Not sure why they're just sitting there. But here he comes across the line. What have we got? Dan Minton straight onto pole position with a 1:28.1. Massive improvement. Huge improvement. It goes wide at turn 1. So that'll most certainly be a disallowed lap, I would imagine. Although he is still pushing quite hard. But we'll have to wait and see what happens there. But still going great guns at the moment. So who we are with on here? This is one of the someone new to myself, obviously, not to you guys that have already been watching, but to myself is a bit of a new face. So this is a pro driver. I will get it up in football. Is he a pro driver? Yes, he is. Car number 24. So this is Zoran Zonjic. Sorry. I do apologise if I've mispronounced that. It's the first time pronouncing it, so do feel free to give me any abuse that I deserve, and I almost certainly do deserve some abuse. Puts himself on 6th place. Great lap for him there. So the top 9 are within a second of each other at the moment, so that's a really good effort by him. It's really good to see that the Honda has made a bit of a comeback, because it was a bit of a mistreated love. It was, it deserved more love than it got. It definitely did deserve more love than it got. After the most recent patch and update, obviously giving us some new cars, and obviously they worked on the Honda, so I think it's now technically the Evo 2, but still just the same vehicle as before. But yeah, really nice to see a slightly... Nice to see that car back. Sorry, I've just been given some slight advice on how to pronounce the name. Okay, so I do apologise. It is Zoran Zonjic, I believe. So again, I think I've got that right. So it was a soft J apparently. So I do apologise if I got it right. I got it right apparently. Fantastic. Thank you very much, Arthur. Arthur, our man behind the scenes, running the stream for you, changing the cameras and giving me all the advice that I will almost certainly miss at some point. Right, so again, is there an improvement this time round? Yes, puts himself in 2nd place. What a strong effort, brilliant move. And as I said before, great to see the Honda up there at the very front. Well, let's say this on the first row at least. And actually nice to see a Bentley up there on the actual very, very front of the grid. And a bit of a rarity, sort of, I've kind of felt like the Bentley was dying out with some of the modern cars coming in. But Dan Minton obviously showing that it is still very much a masterful car. Can he go any better here? Yes, and again, a 1:27.8. That is a massive improvement over everyone else. 0.06 of a second quicker. That is insanely quick. And that has actually now pushed it, so only the top 7 is within 1 second of each other. Dakuza hasn't put in a lap time yet, I've just noticed. So hopefully everyone else gets on it and puts in the times. Oh, and Dan Minton pulls off to the side, so obviously happy with what he's done. I mean, to be fair, that 1:27.8 was a very, very strong time indeed. Oh, Doyle in the BMW puts himself in 2nd place. But back on board with that number 24 Honda. Coming to... Oh, this is the last chicane, isn't it? Yes. Got my brain confused for a moment there. I thought we were on the first chicane. Nope, not at all. So here he goes, comes across the line. Any improvement for him? No better. That was a 1:29.6, and that is not quick enough. Who we got here? Dudster. Car number 70. Oh, yeah, car number 4. That's the one. What are we going to get from him? Was in 23rd, now in 20th position. So that's a really good effort. Oh, I've just noticed that Venter in that number 42 car just put himself in 6th place, so he is our top running AM driver at the moment. That's a seriously good time for an AM driver, so maybe a bit of a Zolder specialist. But staying with Dunster, you can see the Porsche does struggle a little bit with the curbs, and I think he's about to come up on some traffic. And that is kind of a 68, I believe, in front of him. Still pushing on nicely, though. How are we going to do here? Swings through that long left-hander, hard on the brakes through this second chicane. Again, now on board, you can see just how delicate this section of the circuit can be. They come flying through this right-hander and then over the crest for this slight left-hander. It's not even really a named corner, but it is quite a little jump to look out for. And hard on the brakes here for the... Oh, the camera's gone. Who are we looking at here? Come on, cameras, catch up with us. It's thinking about it. There he goes into the distance. So we missed the hairpin, but never mind. Such is life with ACC. Oh no, his lap has been ruined. That's surely taken away a load of his time. A missed brake, missed braking by the kind of a 68, I believe. So Zakovic. And that's a real shame. Oh, and he's abandoned the lap at that point. So Dunster abandoning that lap. And going from there. We are on board with Zach in a bright, oh my goodness, an incredibly bright green McLaren, isn't it? Goodness gracious. So coming into the first chicane, takes a massive amount of inside curve there. Very, very brave to be able to throw it in that aggressively. Fair play to him being able to do that. Yeah, McLaren not always the best car over the curb, but obviously showing that it's fairly well positioned. So again, rolls on the throttle, going to come over this crest, wants to kind of be off the steering by the time he gets there. Beautifully done, and hard on the brakes here. Late apex. Run as wide as you need to, using loads and loads of exit curve. There it is. So currently running 17th, but what improvements are we going to see here? Just 2 more corners to go. Throwing it into the left. And then the right. Has he held it together? A little bit squirmy on the exit. Can he keep it together though? Could possibly be a nice time for him here. Was in 17th, is now 16th place, so 1 position gained. And still on it, he's staying out. Again, you see him working all the way over to that exit curve and then swinging it back over to the left to try and get as much speed through this first corner. Or second corner, I suppose. This long sequence of right-handers. Again, rolling on the throttle, getting on the brakes as late as possible, flings it in, not too much inside curve, don't want to upset the car, and run as wide as possible without actually touching the gravel. Here he goes, down into this first chicane again. We saw him take an absolute boatload of curb last time. Oh, and too much curb on the left-hander, that first corner, and it pushed the car wide. So this lap will almost certainly be disallowed. On board with Venter, who is our leading AM driver and inside the top 10, doing a really, really good job to get himself up there. Fair play to him, and on a flyer as well. Any improvement? He puts himself on second. That is unbelievably quick. Still half a second behind Dan Minton, our current pole sitter, but that is unbelievably quick for an AM driver. I mean, maybe Zolder is his home circuit. Maybe that's the one he prefers the most. But right, I think we're gonna. Oh, there's a big slide for him coming out of turn 3. Massive crash. Obviously, really, really pushing it. So on board with Matej Mikzic. So I do apologise if I'm a little bit rusty with the names. It's trying to get back into it again. Here we go. Just come through. God, my brain's broken this evening. There we go. Yeah, that was the hairpin, wasn't it? Oh, and it's got BMWs going slow in front of him. In fact, he's got, quite a lot of slow traffic. Whether the BMW was trying to give himself some space, not sure, but definitely got him on the brakes. Winkler, Otto Winkler. And that is a gorgeous livery on that Bentley. Really good looking livery, that sort of multiple shades of gold and black. Was in 24th, is now 22nd place, 2 position gained. Really well done. Yeah, that is a stunning livery on that. I mean, I'm not sure what it reminds me of. Almost like a Louis Vuitton bag or something. I'm sure someone can tell me that I'm choosing the wrong type of bag, but it looks something like that. I'm sure it does. I mean, you know, feel free to tell me I'm wrong. Again, I probably am, but that's the vibes I'm getting. Louis Vuitton bag. So sticking with him now for this lap. He's just coming up to the first chicane. The Bentley should be able to monster these chicanes pretty well. I don't imagine I'll have much problem here. Yeah, flew through there without too much problem. Oh, he is a bit wide there, though, but obviously, I mean, he's much quicker than me as a driver, and one of the BMWs diving out the way there for him. Ooh, possibly a little bit deep on the brakes there into that first turn. That might have put him off ever so slightly. Here we go, coming down towards the hairpin, throwing it in. Oh, again, the camera decides it doesn't want it. There we go. Oh, I think he got a little bit squirrely at the exit, though. I think he lost a bit of speed there. Just sort of caught him correcting himself. So he was running in 22nd, but we'll have to see what happens when he gets to the line. It might not be as big of an improvement as he thought, which will be a shame for him. I'm sure he'll be pushing absolutely all guns blazing. Coming across the line. Any improvement? No, not this time round. Let's get the old YouTube chat up. Let's make sure I've got that visible, because I just realised I'm not looking at the YouTube chat, and I do apologise if anyone is in there talking. Who have we got here? Mally's in the group chat. He is your race director for the evening. So when you hear the big scary voice of "this is race director," oh no, sorry, race control coming up, he will be the man. He'll be the man dishing out the penalties as he sees fit, along with the rest of his team. I do apologise. I realise I'm probably not meant to say who that is, but I've just said who it is. I do apologise. I meant to keep his name quiet, but he is the voice that you hear. I see Arthur's in the chat as well, and Nicola. We'll go with Nicola. Saying good evening. Yes, good evening. Oh, massive slide from Dakuda. Don't know if that was on purpose or not, but goodness gracious, that was like something out of Fast and Furious. Goodness gracious me, it was a good slide by him. Currently running in 5th position, and Dakuda is 7th in the championship overall, so plenty of points on the cards for him. So hard the brakes into this first chicane. See, here we go. You see that this car, Porsche, cannot take the curbs. Quite the same with some of the other cars, so you can see he has to go a lot more carefully through that first chicane. So that's going to be a major weak spot for him during the race. You know, people are going to be able to take advantage of that possibly. Although there's lots of people that do say taking too much exit curb then ruins your exit speed, because obviously the car bounces, you either lose traction there, or the traction control cuts in and really limits the amount of power you can put down. But he's still pushing hard at the moment. I keep seeing yellow flags pop up, but I realise it's just people bailing into the pit entrance. Here we go, coming across the line in just a moment. What are we going to get? Seemed like a really good exit for him there. What are we going to get? Thunders towards the line, currently in 5th. Days in 5th. That was only a 1:29.497, so nowhere near an improvement, over a second off his best. So he's got to push a lot harder than that if he wants it. Again, that might be the case of he was a little bit ginger with the older, with that first chicane. Did look like he was taking it quite easy through those curbs. Here we go, through this first sector now. Just coming up towards that first chicane again. We'll keep a little bit of an eye on how much curb he takes. What are we going to get? Here he goes, throws it in, big bounce, big second bounce. Goodness gracious, he manages to hold the car together. I mean, yes, oh no, and he's bailed out, so presumably he dirtied his lap at that point. Just noticed that Mex currently running in 2nd place now, so he has dethroned Venter. So Doyle, oh, there we go, just coming through that first sector, had a big slide on the exit, currently running in 7th place in the number 85 BMW. Another really, really good looking livery on that car, to be fair. So again, comes over the top of the hill, giving it great guns. What can he do? Oh, back on board with Venter. Yes, and he is coming through Sector 1 now. Back out there pushing again. only half a second off. Yeah, he's only half a second off of the actual pole sitter, so that's a really, really good effort. But I'd be surprised if he can maybe take Dan Minton's time. But he might be able to take next. Oh, that was a big cut for the inside. I doubt that's kept the lap clean at this moment, but not sure. It might be okay. What have we got? Can he do it? Here we go. Coming through Sector 3 now. Harder. Nope, doesn't bother. Carries on straight. Maybe practicing a pit stop. Obviously, with 2 hours of racing. Yeah, some of these guys. Oh, dearie me. Nearly went deep there, didn't he? Very, very nearly caught the tyres. That's the last thing you want to do, is catch the tyres going into the pit. So this is anyone out on the lap now. This is their final chance to come across the line. So this is shoot. Third place. A massive improvement. 12th up to 3rd position. Absolutely stunning work. And what a great looking livery it is on that Lexus. Stunning bit of work. Amazing. I mean, that's a huge, huge effort. I'm just trying to see who's going to be next across the line. Car number 39 will be our next man across the line. And here we go. And it is... Oh, we'll get another name that I'm not entirely sure common with. Vermeulen. Car number 39. Running a very similar livery to one of the other guys as well, isn't he? He's running a very similar livery to Venter, possibly. So he's in 12th. Any improvement? No, stays in 12th. So a bunch of guys all coming across the line now. We'll try and keep an eye on the time, see what jumps around. I don't think there was an overly large amount of change then. But we'll let it all settle, and then we will have a look at the grid. Right, so our grid, now it has settled, is looking like Minton on pole, Mex in 2nd place, Shoot in 3rd, Venter in 4th and leading the AM drivers, Bouillon in 5th position, Dacusa 6th, Bellato in 7th place, Doyle in 8th, Jongic in 9th place, Mixic in 10th, Drake in 11th, Vermeulen. Vermeulen? Yeah, Vermeulen? Yeah, we'll go with Vermeulen. No, Vermeulen. Sorry, I do apologise. The old dyslexia kicking in there in 12th. And then in 13th overall and 2nd place in AM is Marko Miljelovic. I think I've got that right. It's one of the brothers. Robinson in 14th place. Buck in 15th place, Wilson 16th place, Greening in 17th, Langdijk in 18th position, Zach in 19th, Winkler in 20th, Brooker 21st, Tonzetic in 22nd, Dunster in 23rd, and this was... Oh, we didn't actually see that much of this car. I saw it go off once or twice. Sokovic in 24th place. So that is our entire grid, ladies and gentlemen. They are getting ready now. This will be the last minute checks, making sure they've put the fuel in. So fingers crossed. That time set by Venter is astonishing. That is insane. For someone that's classified as an AM driver as well, that's some seriously good going. So, just about 45 seconds. So we're going to have an ad coming up for our sponsor, SimRacing Pro, in just a moment once the cars get going. So you won't hear anything from me for a little while, and just while we're getting that up and rolling. But do stick with us. Please don't go away. It should be a beautifully exciting race. And again, it'd be really interesting to see if Venter can keep that sort of pace up during a race, or whether it's just the sheer qualifying pace. As you know, as we've seen before, race pace and qualifying pace can be very, very different. So I'm going to go quiet in just a moment, and we'll go from there. Rightio, and we're back. So thank you ever so much for our sponsors there, SimRacing Pro. Do give them a check out. There we go. The Mintons have joined the chat. Giving some love. Have a great race, Dan Minton, car number 888. Yeah, he is our pole man. So fantastic effort from him in qualifying. He really, really did show some amazing pace, about half a second quicker than anyone else, I believe. Mex obviously got himself up there into second place as well, and shoot at the last moment possible, a huge jump up the grid of I think it was like 9 places. I think he went up the grid at the end of qualifying. So absolutely fantastic effort for him. So as always here with ISDA, yeah, they are some incredibly fast racers. These are, you know, the top boys, but they're also incredibly clean. It's something we really look for here with a international.
Car number 7 gets a 25-second time penalty left over from previous race.
There we go. That was the voice of race control. So 25-second penalty for car number 7, which is one of the Miljelovic brothers. And this season, not in the Mercedes, in the McLaren, which is nice to see. But they've still kept their steel liveries, so at least we know who they are when we're looking at them. But 25-second penalty from the last race that has carried over. So, not content with how ACC controls everything, sort of race control-wise. Here with ISDA, we not only run a safety car, but we also run live stewarding. And they will jump in and put penalties in place. So all the drivers should be listening along, and they'll be able to hear that voice as well as it cuts in and lets them know, just like it is in real life, where the voices come through on them, the mics. So here we go, the last roll to the line. They are stacking up now. Dan Minton trying to make sure he's got as much of an advantage as possible within the capabilities. The final run to the line now. And some of the guys are barely going to be through that final corner when the lights go green. It's a deceptively short start and finish straight, to be fair. Oh, and it almost looked like that Mercedes of Mex was out of position, but he's already, looks like he's got in front. A great start by the Mercedes. Can he hold on to it around the outside? He's really going for it. Possibly. Yes, and he's going to have the inside into turn 2. Great effort by him. Fantastic bit of driving. And he already took it. I'm amazed that the game did not sting him. I thought he was out of position. It looked like he was slightly in front when the lights went green, but obviously not. He just managed to get it. But Dan Minton goes back up the inside into turn 3. Can he do this? Yeah, Dan Minton squeezes through, ended up putting Mex a little bit wide, and now Shoot also able to come up behind him. Are we going to see anything here? Shoot up into second place now. Dan Minton regains first. Here we go, through the chicane for the first time. Too wide through there. Oh, who was that car number 96? Looked like it was a little bit off kilter. One of the Miljelovic brothers has also gone off, but looks like he's managed to get himself going. So if there were incidents between drivers, oh, and there we go, into the second chicane. There's an incident. And again, a couple of cars getting caught up here. Always a bit difficult through this first lap. Looks like everyone's got going again. Oh, but another bump out wide. Again, sometimes it can be very difficult with cars rejoining the circuit, even when they keep it safely, you're just unaware that they are next to you. So here we're going for the replay. What happened here? Oh, so it was one of the Bentleys and the BMWs, kind of, which ones wasn't it? Oh, then kind of 889 gets bumped round as well. And then, as we said, as he rejoins, that car number 74 of the BMW, I think it lost a bit of traction, was unable to maintain the grip he needed to stay away from that. So I think probably between those guys is nothing more than a racing incident and nothing too much to worry about, but I'm sure some of the other incidents will be under investigation. But currently, Dan Minton out in front, Shoot in second, and Mex in third place. And already Dan Minton starting to pull away significantly. Venter managed to hold on to fourth with all that squabbling going on. So Mex now, and after that amazing start, has lost his position and is now down in third place. But let's just see how long it takes for the Mercedes to get its tyres turned on. Cars are quite plagued with understeer, so it might take a lap or two to get the temperature up together. I was having quite a good discussion the other day with another sim racer, and they were saying how if they get any damage more than 5 seconds... Oh! Venter trying to go around the outside at the hairpin. Is he going to be able to get the switch back? Not able to, but Venter on the offensive now. So next, from up in going all the way into first place on turn 1, is now under threat of losing podium position altogether. So there is 2 hours of this race, lads. So maybe don't go too crazy. You've got plenty of time to gain positions. So sticking with next for the minute. Great looking Mercedes there. Throwing it now into turn 2. He's managed to break away ever so slightly from Venter, but we saw that BMW is astonishingly good on the brakes. I would imagine, though, that Mex has now got the tyres turned on properly in that Mercedes. The front end probably up to temp, the back end also probably getting there by this point. So fingers crossed it all holds together for him. Mercedes can be a bit of a wily beast, but again, we just see Dan Minton absolutely thundering away from these guys. God, you just see them bouncing through that first chicane. I mean, such bravery to go for it. So we are on board with car number 74 now. Oh no, sorry, move this off. Someone off at the first chicane. It's Buck in the number 2 BMW. And he's just got to sit there and wait. What happened here? Was it his own doing or was it someone else? Let's have a little look. He's got an Aston Martin right up the back of him. I'm going to imagine it was just his own doing, possibly. Did he throw in and take too much curve? Yes, here we go, see. Oh, that's a huge front-end impact. That's a massive amount of damage on that BMW. And it's quite important that you've got all the front-end grip here at Zolder. Lots and lots of fast changing directions. The last thing he's going to want is any damage, especially to any of the tracking on this car. So, keeping it up on board with Venter again now, car number 42, and our leading AB driver. The quick one, Miljelovic obviously running with a 25-second penalty, but is up into 11th place at the moment. But Venter doing really, really well to hold on to 4th place overall. I mean, he's got a lovely cushion, hasn't he, all the way back. Bellato running in 6th place, starting to have a little bit of a squabble with D'Couza in front. Also, Mixic looks like he's going to try and maybe make a move here. Not able to, though. Two very, very different cars. Obviously, the Bellato and the Lexus, and he's got a Porsche in front and behind. So where he is dominant, the Porsches are going to be weakest, but vice versa. Supposedly the Porsche quite a good one to drive at the moment on the current BOP rulings. Obviously, anyone not sort of au fait with GT3 racing, they use a system called BOP, or balance of power. Basically, the idea is that all these entirely different cars, you've got Porsche that's rear-engine, rear-wheel drive, and then you've got something that's mid-engined, and then you've got the front-engine cars, such as the Bentley or the BMWs, or even the Mercedes. The idea is that you should be able to have equal racing with all of them. So, really good to see. Who have we got here? Zach, who is car number 899, who we saw get bumped off at the second chicane on lap 1, currently running in 22nd place. But he will be trying to make his way back up through the grid as he lost a lot of positions. He's doing all right, though. He seems to be holding it together. Is he going to try and get around the outside of one of the Miljelovic brothers? Don't think so. That'll be Evo just in front of him. Again, throwing it through the first sector. It looks like he's going to get his nose up the inside of Tom Zetic. Not quite. And Doyle is not letting off either. Doyle really close to the back of him. That big piggy nose on the BMW sniffing all over the back of him like a truffle. Yeah, look up the inside into that first chicane. God, but no, the BMW around the outside. Surely they're not going to try and go too wide through there. No, they are not. But again, here we go. We see that jump over the curb. Although it looked like he was quicker through the corner, he doesn't seem to outrun himself. Like it just doesn't get the same amount of grip. Oh, and the Audi and Evo. Oh, that's a big shunt. Sort of a concertina effect there. And Zach not having the race he wants. And again, he finds himself right back there with it was Bouillon, car number 74, who obviously had a slight incident with when he rejoined the circuit earlier as well. So, not going particularly well for Zach. He gained a few positions and then lost them. Oh, possibly Drake getting into the back of Miksic there. Flashing his lights like crazy at him. So, obviously unhappy with what just happened. I think it was just kind of a, or maybe it might be a, oh, here comes race control.
Lap 1, turn 7, incidents under investigation. Over.
There we go. As we expected, race control are right straight away. So discussing, obviously, these lap 1 incidents. So fingers crossed that will get sorted, and, well, not even fingers crossed, it will get sorted. They are an amazing team of the race control guys. They do an absolutely sterling job of being fair and swift with everything. Oh my goodness, car number 24, that was a massive corner cut. I mean, one way to avoid bouncing over the curb is obviously just to go to the inside of it. Good lord. So a couple more people in the chat now. Froggy, afternoon from USA, Texas. Good evening, mate. And who we got here? We have Ivan, Stono fans for Minton. Yeah, there's Steve Minton's here. I've seen him in the group chat, in the chat. And yeah, he is. He's also saying hello. And who we have here? We have Sasha, and saying good evening as well. Good evening to everyone that's watching along. Doyle, car number 85. He's a pro driver currently sandwiched by a bunch of the amateur drivers trying to go up the inside. And to be fair, I think Tom Zetic let him go through there. Obviously, knew he was a faster driver and decided to let him go. So on board with Doyle now. What can Doyle do in respect to Evo in front of him? Evo himself, a pretty damn good driver. Here we go. We've got someone else here. We have. Oof, goodness gracious. Who is this in the chat? This is Jojo. I do apologise if I mispronounced that. Let's go Winkler. So Winkler fan. Where is Winkler running? He is. I'm being very, very blind. He's running 12th place. Really, really good. And that is 3rd overall in AM class as well. But currently on board with Doyle, coming down to the first chicane. Here we go. You can see the real difference. It's much, much stronger through there. Much stronger over the curbs, that BMW, and gets the move done and is past Evo. Oh, but he does take a massive cut. That's going to be something to look out for. It's going to be people picking up race-generated penalties for track limits, because we've seen a lot of guys take a lot of shortcuts here. Some of them not intentional, some of them maybe slightly more intentional than others. You see the difference in lines here from Bellato and Miksic. Such a different line from those two cars. Whether that's intentional or not, I'm not sure, but I said they're two very, very differently set up cars. And that was a huge difference. Possible moving into the chicane on the brakes. He does look up the inside. That's a big oof. That was a brave move. To be fair, they both had to go pretty evasive, and that has now left Drake to try and go 3 wide. There's a little touch. Oh, and he's still there. He's really trying. Is he going to get it done under braking? He's. Oh. That wasn't the best moves by you guys. Come on, you got 2 hours of this. You're barely just over 10 minutes into the race. Just have a little breather. again, very, very hard. Once you see a gap appear, you just want to go for it, and you want everything as much as possible to get as many positions as quickly as possible. And obviously Drake, looking to get into the top 5, thought he could gain 2 positions at once. I think it was just a case of maybe Bellato just didn't expect that Mercedes to be there so quickly. Oh, car number 211. Who is that? They've gone off at some point. I saw a yellow flag for them. Not sure who that was, but okay. Vermeulen, car number 39, currently running in 9th place. Who is this? This is Wilson, car number 96. Coming up on the back of Brooker. Again, just starting a lap now. I've got to be said, the new BMWs have got some great liveries for them. You know, whether they be pre-made by the game or custom built by people, there are some great looking liveries coming up for these cars. It's a real pleasure to look at them. Still pushing hard into the first chicane, throws it in again. You see the BMW doesn't even waver as he takes not the massive amount of curb, but a decent old chunk of it. Brings it now down towards the second chicane. Oh, a little bit deep there. Loses a lot of speed mid-corner, and that's given Brooker a chance to maybe escape, and it has meant that maybe Wilson's not quite so clean on the exit either. Runs a little bit wide onto the grass. It'll be interesting to see over the space of 2 hours how the penalty system, that Mugellovic penalty. Oh, car number 447 dives out of the way. Really, really out of the way. Almost caused an issue there, because that is green thundering through. What? Did anything actually happen there? It looked like he just... Oh, no, he has contact. I did just missed that out of the corner of my eye. Made contact with one of the Mugellovic brothers. So obviously decided to maybe just let off the throttle a little bit to allow him to rejoin in front of him and not get caught up in more incidents. Obviously, we don't actually advise waiting. You're better to just carry on, and the penalty system will come into place as if you've ruined someone's race, regardless of if you wait, you've still ruined their race kind of thing. And obviously in real life, you don't wait. You just get on and get lapping again. So... nothing malicious there, but again, it's just a case of outbraked himself and just caught the back of that was Evo. So Evo down to 19th position. Oh, Tom Zettich's car does sound fantastic. There's just something about the whale that comes off. Oh no! And that is our leading AM driver, Marko Mugellovic, trying to get himself back on track there, but masses of front end damage. Get that car going. Yes, he can. So what happened there, was that self-inflicted? I'm imagining that's going to be as he came over that crest. Did he just lose a bit of grip? Oh, he was already off and on the grass. Oh, a massive collision. That's a huge amount of damage. Oh, that's not good. That's really not going to go well for him. Does manage to maneuver the car and get himself back out, but suspension-wise and bodywork, it's going to be absolute trash. That's going to be a fair few minutes. Does get it back to the pits, though. So, what? Oh, barely getting it into the pits, though, Mugellovic. Down to 21st place before he even gets to the pit wall. So I'm just having a little look at what happened to our leading AM driver a moment ago. Oh, here we go. This is Winkler and Langdijk having a bit of a go. There you go, Winkler pushing on through. Now got himself up into 10th place. I think so. Yes, there we go. Timing board finally caught up. So blue flags waving after we've had some guys pit. It's all kind of kicking off. So Tom Zettich in car number 447. what happened here. Coming up, car number 26, possibly. Too much curb, yes, and he just goes round the wall, manages to keep it out the wall, manages to avoid the full rotation, so that's a huge bonus, managing to avoid that. Oh no, but he does! He did clip the wall while trying to rejoin the circuit, and he'll be devastated by that, because it's gone from...
This is race control. Car number 199 gets a drive-through for lap 7 collision. Car number 82 gets a 10-second for causing a collision. Car number 96 gets a 20 seconds for causing a collision. Lap 1, turn 7, over.
So there we go, the rulings have just come through from lap 1. No messing around. And Drake will be devastated by that, to be honest. Obviously, now having to run, having to do a drive-through penalty, it's bad news. Obviously, the penalty's now coming in. Oh, and Drake, I believe, has immediately dived into the pits to maybe serve this, or he's just dropped down the order very, very quickly. He's now in 9th. So either... Right, on board with Dan Minton. Here we go. Oh, he nearly has a collision there with passing a back marker. Goodness gracious, that was very, very close. So, Dan Minton fully going for it at this point. Doing absolutely fantastically. So again, comes into this first chicane, beautifully done there. Lots and lots of curb being used, but he's able to ride through it without too many problems. Swings through the long left-hander, Butte. And then into this sort of, almost like a double chicane. So it's a right and a left, and then you go right and left again. Runs all the way onto that exit curb. It looks like a little bit of a power slide, but not too much. And then running it all the way over the top of the crest. Beautifully done. And hard on the brakes here for the hairpin. A little bit of just a little kink there. And then hammering it all the way to this final chicane. And there we go. Swings it in. Beautifully done. And hammers it away towards the line. And I think, yes, here we go. We are on the dash of his car now, so we can get a good idea of what he is doing today. And he is really dominating this race at the moment.
This is race control. Car number 899 gets a warning for causing a collision with car 447.
So there we go. That is, I believe, the bright green McLaren. So we've seen it a couple of times have a couple of bumps and stuff. Like I said, nothing too obviously out of order, but just being given a little warning to maybe just, calm down a little bit. It's very easy once the red mist descends to not be able to shake it off. But, a little bit of a mistake there, I think, from Dan Minton. Looked like he went a little bit too much on that inside curve, on that left-hander, and it just sent him a little bit deep. Here we go, just trying to run through the speed through that second chicane is fantastic. Runs it all the way to the outside using plenty of curb. Just avoids that inside curb to stop the car over-rotating. Still flat out now, just about to hit the brakes. There it is, just before the tyre sign. Late apex, rolls on the throttle. And again, pushing nice and hard. This is going to be the bit that will catch many drivers out here. This section, obviously, if you're doing an actual lap, to anchor the brakes on and throw it in, but if you're not and you're just going into the pit, you can actually brake a lot later, and it is amazing how many people get caught out by that. They're so busy concentrating on going into the pit they don't realise everyone else in front has slowed right down. So this is Bellato now versus Dakuta.
This is race control. Lap 5, turn 7, cars 447, 85 and 899 under investigation. Over.
So this was the incident we saw a little bit earlier. We caught that one. I think we watched back through the replay of it as well. There's a couple of people getting together, so they concertinaed up under braking. It's easy to do when you're battling hard, but it's not what you want at all. So Bellato now chasing after the back of Dakuta. God, the mass sparks that came off the bottom of Dakuta, and it shows. I think he lost a lot of traction. So Porsche so good on the brakes there. managing to defend brilliantly from Bellato then. Really got on the brakes just at the right time and manages to hold on to it. You can see where the advantage of these two cars and how different they are on the circuit. Can he do anything here? Can Bellato make a move on Kuza in sector 3, coming down into the chicane, into the hairpin, sorry. Not able to, and actually Miksic, it looks like he's closing on him here. So again, coming into this final braking zone now. He does look a little bit up the inside. Again, has a little look. He's just starting to show his nose. Maybe trying to unsettle Kuza slightly. But Kuza's no map to be shaken easily. He's not going to just roll over and give up this position. He wants to stay inside that top 5. He doesn't want to risk dropping back any further. Here we go, on the dash of Bellato. We can see back of that Porsche in front of him. Sorry, yeah, the back, yeah, in front of him. Oh, I got my words all confused then. Runs a slightly tighter line there through turn 2. Keep the throttle on hard. So this is last lap where we saw a massive difference in overall pace. Kuza not running quite as wide this time, doesn't lose that pace that he did last time. Getting on the brakes, throws it into the chicane. Much straighter line from Bellato there, but again, to see what I mean about this whole thing with the tyres bouncing, you lose so much traction that the car actually can't get away from that turn. Oof, big cut there from Kuza. Ran a lot of the inside curb. Just that rear engine on there, the Porsche does allow it to launch away from the corners pretty well. As soon as you get it pointing in the right direction, it's got such a large amount of grip, it can just hammer away. So Dennis Bellato is trying to pick away at Kuza, but is currently unable to do anything. Again, looks a little bit up the inside there. Is he maybe thinking that Bellato's going to pit super early and he just keeps, sorry, Kuza's going to pit super early and looks up the inside? I'm not sure, but he does keep showing his nose. He just keeps having a little look just to see what's going on there. He had a couple of the cars come through the pits already. I think most of those were for penalties or damage. So Bellato continues his assault. Looks like he had a slightly quicker run here. Is he going to be gaining on him enough into the chicane? I'm not sure. It's another good run though. It does look like he's carrying maybe ever so slightly more speed. The gap's just not closing enough. Yeah, that's what I was looking at. Was Venter, who obviously was our leading AM driver, who's disappeared, and I've just seen in the YouTube chat Paul Venter, and so it turns out it was a DC got disconnected. Absolutely devastating for him. So very sorry about that, Paul. That was a bit of a killer. I mean, amazing qualification, and you were really sticking with it through the race. So real shame, but sadly it does happen. The way I've always looked at it is it's the same as someone having an engine failure in a real life race is like having a disconnect in a sim race. And sadly it is just part of sim racing. Oh, another lap that Bellato is looking at the back of Kuza's Porsche and just wishing he could just get that a little bit quicker. These two are just lapping it impeccably closely. So just over 25 minutes of the race complete now, another 1:34 to go. And again, you see these two just thundering on. Yeah, did a great job to survive lap 1 and holding on to that position while everyone was squabbling around you was absolutely amazing, Paul. So really good effort there, and yeah, really sad to see you have to drop out because of the disconnect. So again, Bellato not able to really make any moves. He's just sort of the concertina in and out. They get close and then they open back up again. And just at the moment, Kuza is looking like the stronger driver of these two. He is just maintaining this gap. Oh, kind of a 2-1-1 has gone off. Who was that? It was Van der Haar. So, oh, yeah. Oh, that's the worst place you could hit as well. The worst place you could hit. That was real not good. Right at the start of the lap as well. He's got a long way to go back to the pits. So, on board with Langdijk, running in 10th place and currently chasing off the back of Winkler. Winkler is a AM driver, our leading AM driver in 9th place at the moment. He's doing really well to keep himself inside the top 10, but he is running with a 10-second penalty, so he is going to lose this position when he serves that penalty. So Langdijk in that beautiful Aston Martin. It's sort of, what colour are we going to say? It's kind of a terracotta orange and white livery. And just now you can see it's 8 PM in game.
This is race control. Car number 85 gets a 5-second time penalty for lap 5 turn 7 collision with car 899. Over.
So there we go. That is kind of 85. Doyle getting a penalty. Yeah, he was at the back of that group of cars that did end up getting into each other. Again, just running a little bit too close and ended up coming up. Oh, here we have Drake, car number 199, who obviously had that drive-through penalty earlier, now chasing after the back of Zikovic. About to come into the final chicane. Or was his first chicane? I'm getting myself confused. First chicane, do apologise. They look so similar. There's lots of very similar corners here, I do apologise. But yeah, car number 199. But Greening also on the back of him, not giving up. Our 3rd place AM driver. Maybe looking to take advantage of these two squabbling. So Zikovic, obviously we saw him last season as well. Very, very adept driver. But Drake really pushing quite hard. We're in the cockpit with him just for a moment there. You can see how hard he's pushing. Is he able to do anything here? I will say, the Lamborghini, another one of those sort of slightly unloved cars. Doesn't get as, don't see many of them on the grid anymore. Again, just the way it goes. I'm sure there's some circuits where they're like incredibly dominant, but just overall, you don't see many of them on any of the sim racing grids at the moment in ATC. Oh, and he looks up the inside. He's going to be on the outside for turn 2, though. Is he going to be able to do anything here? The Mercedes, known for its sort of understeery front end, but it looks like he's just managed to outbrake Zikovic. Yes, and gets the move done before turn 3. Fantastic effort by him there. Really got that done. Can he now build on this and get away? It already looks like he's maybe put a car length or 2. Yes, definitely put maybe even 3 car lengths between them already. So now he is past, he's really starting to stretch his legs. This might be a great chance though for Zikovic to sit behind him, try and match those lines and see what he can do. Can he match the same lines as Drake? I'm not sure he can at the moment. It's again 2 very, very different cars, one mid-engine, one front-engined. Greening doing a great effort to stay on the back of these guys. What are we going to get here? Is Zikovic going to be able to pull this back, or is he going to fall to the might of Greening? It does look like Greening is catching on him, doesn't it? Oh, I do apologise if there is any background noise coming through. A very loud ambulance just gone past my house, so hopefully my software kept that hidden. But just in case you heard an odd noise, don't worry, it's not coming for you, it's going past my house. So Bellato is now within striking distance. He has managed to close up the gap on Dakuda. Is he going to be able to do anything here, though? It's just, this battle, I think, is going to go on for the entire race. It's going to be a case of who pits first. Such similar cars, but they've both managed to shake off Miksic now. So there's a little bit of a gap behind them, and so Bellato not having to worry about being defensive, he can just go full attack. Again, tries it, rolls on the throttle. It just doesn't look like he can get off the corner quite as quickly as Dakuda. So any time that Dakuda loses mid-corner, he can regain it, just absolutely tanking it away. I think the gap opened up to nearly half a second again between them. Yeah, and you see it's just levelled off, so unless Takusa makes a mistake, Pilato is not going to be able to take advantage here. Looks pretty good though. Yeah, Takusa doesn't run too wide. It was, so we saw it earlier on, he did run a little bit too wide earlier, dipped a tyre over the curve and he bottomed the car out and just lost a bit of traction. Same thing could happen here. No, again, just look at the way that car pulls away. Such a good accelerating car. I just don't think the Lexus has enough room to stretch its legs to really take advantage of its top speed. You just see the Porsche just manages to just keep it going. Again, down into the hairpin. Both these drivers running such similar lines. 0.6 between them as well. There's really nothing between these guys. On the brakes, maybe a little bit late on the brakes there from Pilato. Again, you see that Takusa just managing to slightly pull away from them now. Actually, I'm surprised Pilato isn't using more curb than he is. I would have thought he would have gone out even wider on that exit curb, but he's being pretty respectful, obviously not wanting to make a mistake himself. And again, still got just under an hour and a half left of this race, so there is plenty of time for people to make moves and people to make mistakes. So sometimes it's better to just stay clean and stick in your position and hope that other people fail around you. It actually is looking like maybe Vermanen is now on the back of Mixic.
This is race control. Lap 8, turns 5 through 8. Cars 15, 996, 199 under investigation. Over.
Okay, so corners 5 and 6. So a little bit of bumping and weaving obviously gone on there, and that's Carnival 199 of Drake involved in that incident again. He's already had a drive-through penalty, so he will be hoping that he does not feel the wrath of race control again, because his race is not going well for him so far. We saw him showing some amazing pace, but he is not going to want to lose another one. Oh, Tonzetic trying to get around the outside of Dunster, gets it done. Yes, he does. Into turn 1, got the run off that final corner and gets it done. And already put quite a nice little gap there, so can Dunster come back from that? Looks like they're going to be under blue flags pretty soon, though. And we can see Zach, car number 899, in the pit at the moment. Oh, we saw him caught up in incidents earlier. But hopefully he's just there for a planned stop, or maybe some damage repair or serving a penalty as opposed to retiring, but you never know. So back on board with Pilato versus Takusa. Again, these two squabbling it out. Oh, a big mistake in the background there. I think that was Mixic. Car number 996 goes off and certainly picked up some damage. Here we go, we can see it. We saw it in the background of the shot. I think he took too much curb. Yeah, there it is. You see what I'm saying about that bounce? You can lose traction, and then once you start to regain it, you can flick the car around. I don't think an overly large amount of damage is inflicted on his car, but enough to cause issues as the back marker is getting out the way of Mex and Takusa there. Very, very out the way, diving completely off the circuit at that point, so giving them plenty of space to run. Oh, and my favourite camera in all of sim racing, that rear wing shot looking back, and actually looking at it, Takusa on that lap managing to pull away from Pilato a little bit. But it's such a beautiful shot, just looking over that rear wing. Gives you a real idea of how quickly cars either close or how quickly they're falling off the back. And you can just see through this first sector that Porsche is so dominant, amazingly powerful there. Gets a good run, not too much curb. And yeah, he's starting to pull away from Pilato just a bit. So whether that is a case of oh, but some big curb jumps. I honestly have no idea. No idea how they're holding this together over that curb, because even in a great big curby like the Mercedes or the Bentley, just such an aggressive curb. Again, we see that run off the corner. Oh, who is this coming up in front? That is one of the back markers, but here we have Dyke versus Winkler. This was something we saw starting to kick off earlier. And Dyke actually in quite a nice position where the car behind him and the car in front both have penalties. So at least he knows that the car behind has to get 5 seconds past him to actually lose the position. And he knows that Winkler has to try and get 10 seconds away to hold on to the position. Down into the hairpin, both rolling on the throttle. Obviously Minton showing how good the Bentley can be here. So actually it turns out it's a Bentley leading both classes, which is pretty good. So Dyke trying to chase up the back of Winkler. Can he do it though? Can he actually close up on him? Because Winkler's looked very, very strong this evening. His pace has been super consistent.
This is race control. Car number 199 gets a 10-second time penalty for pushing another driver off track in lap 8, turn 7. Over.
So there we go. 199 picking up another penalty. Here we go, just having an update on Zach's car number 899. He is normally races in VR, and apparently that is off for service this week. So he has retired. He's tried to race on a flat screen, but just obviously isn't able to. I mean, that's fair enough if you're used to having the visual awareness of VR, being able to look left and right and all over the place, and then suddenly being stuck with a screen. It's got to be quite a shocker. So he's decided to retire this evening, which is absolutely fair play. Obviously didn't feel comfortable. I mean, and that's fair enough. You know, the last thing you want to do is ruin someone else's race because you're not used to your setup. So yeah, obviously made the smart decision there. So I doubt he will see any negative repercussions for retiring from this race this evening for that reason. That's fair play. But sad to see a driver missing from the grid anyway. A car that we hope to not see on the grid this evening is car number 900, the little GT4 Audi. Hopefully he doesn't have to come out and play this evening. We just might see him. There he is. Look at him, that beautiful little bumblebee. So, look at him there, just hiding in the pits, staying out the way. He's desperate, he wants to come out, but he's just got to sit there and wait. One of our race controllers will be sat there desperate to pull him out, but unable to. So on board with car number 24, currently running in 14th place, but he is running behind Wilson, who has a 20-second penalty and is an AM driver. So, I mean, all the welcome to defend his position, but technically doesn't need to. Obviously, because they're in different classes.
This is race control. Car number 447 gets a 10-second time penalty for lap 9, turn 9 collision with car 998.
Okay, so that is Tom Zetic in the Audi, and I believe then with Heusden-Zolder. So 10-second penalty for him as well. I think this is what is nice about doing the way they do things here at ISDA. Is the live stewarding does make a massive difference, because the game doesn't always pick things up. Like, you can just fully yeet someone off the track and the game will kind of just let it go. Yes, you'll get punished with obviously damage to your car, but it's still, you know, it's in some respects the game just cannot run it properly. Yes, it affects your safety rating, but realistically, if you've got your safety rating high enough, you can afford to lose a couple of points every once in a while. So really good the fact that it's live stewarding. And obviously, although I said I don't want to see car number 900 out on track, that is our little safety car. So if a big incident should happen... Oh, hang on, race control's back.
This is race control. Car number 199 and 998 under investigation. Lap 13, turn 2. Over.
Oh, and things just keep stacking up for that 199 Mercedes. Goodness gracious. Another incident there. Oh, there we go. And it looks like Wilson decided to bail out and let Jonjic, Jonjic jump on through. As we said, it wasn't for position. It was two different classes. So nice to see that he just gave him enough room to squeeze on past. There in the braking zone. And who is that coming up behind? That is car number 199 of Drake then coming up behind Wilson now. So another pro driver. So is he going to move out of the way of that pro driver as well? So he didn't dive out of the way immediately. But here we go. Oh, he is looking up the inside under braking. Yes, and he does give him room. Wilson giving him a little bit of space there to go through. Probably a good job he did. Don't think it was going to end particularly well if he hadn't dove out the way at that moment. Here we go. On board with Drake now. Obviously, we see running the 10-second penalty at the moment. He was right up at the sharp end of the grid earlier, but had a drive-through penalty. So we'll wait and see what happens. As we know, he's under investigation again at the moment. Sometimes it can just penalties can breed penalties, it seems. As we said before, that red mist descent, it's very difficult to sometimes get rid of it. Whether it be intentional or not, sometimes you can just be a little bit choppy with your racing, and it can just all sort of pile up a little bit. So fingers crossed, he's got it all sorted out now. Still inside the top 15, so you know, still not a bad result if he stays here, and still got an hour and 16 minutes to go. So plenty of time to regain positions. No doubt others will at some point make mistakes around him. But at the moment, that car number 24 of Jonjic is absolutely flying away. So on the bonnet now of this number 199 car. I had the pleasure of going to watch GT3 racing in real life the other day at Brands Hatch, which is actually our season ender here this season. It was stunning. The noises, the sheer amount of noise coming off these cars, and I will say the Mercedes does sound just. It's great. I don't know. It's like a lion roaring through a trombone. It's just such a deep, gorgeous noise. I mean, the Audis sound fantastic as well, and I think the only car that didn't sound as good as I thought it would was the McLaren, actually. I thought the McLaren sounded a little bit flat, but great on the downshifts. But if you are watching any simulation racing, and you live anywhere near any of the circuits that are featured on games you play, I fully suggest you go and check it out in real life. It is amazing to go and see them in real life. And if you ever think Brands Hatch is scary in simulations, my goodness, you should go and see Turn 1 in real life. It is absolutely insane, the elevation change. So I think the games have a very good way of sort of making everything look a lot flatter than it really is. Right, on board with Winkler, who is... You're on the... timely. No, oh sorry. Yeah, on board with Winkler. I got myself confused then. Still being mobbed by Langdijk. Again, technically not a battle for position, but he is inside the top 10 overall, and so you know, bragging rights, wants to stay there. And actually, Winkler doing a pretty good job of pulling away from Langdijk from time to time. So also Winkler may be sort of trying to think of self-preservation. Doesn't want to give up the position. Because then if he then starts outpacing Langdijk, he's then going to get stuck and be losing pace. He did not realise. Oh no, that might not be an in-game livery. I do apologise. I forget that you can name your own liveries in this game. Again, hard the brakes here, coming into the first chicane, throws it in, great big chunk of inside curve. Oh, Zikovic, he is off at that's the hairpin, isn't it? He sat there quite a long time. Now let's go back to the pits. Oh, so before the hairpin, masses of front end damage. I wonder if he's totally damaged his steering and unable to pull away from that wall. Looks like he's trying to get the car to turn, and it just won't. Real shame. Obviously, it's such a long incident. We just missed the actual incident, but I would imagine that's probably a case of gone a little bit wide at some point, and then he's just spun as he went over the top of the crest. We saw it earlier on, and no doubt we'll see it again. That crest will claim some victims. On the wing of Winkler now then, looking back towards kind of the 36 of Langdijk, the Aston Martin. So it's about 8:45 in game time, so darkness just starting to show its face a little bit. We're obviously like Winkler short shifted there to maintain, to try to get the power down without losing, lighting up the rear wheels at all. Really good there. What a great exit from as he comes to the end of sector 1 down towards the chicane. Definitely outpacing Langdijk at that moment. Comes through the chicanes. Oh, big chunk of inside second curve though. A lot of dirt get kicked up there. Down towards the second chicane. And a much straighter line there from Langdijk. A massive amount of time gained on him. Goodness gracious, that was a huge chunk of time taken out of Winkler. I think Winkler may have been a little bit late on the brakes. Didn't quite get the apex where he thought he wanted it to. They are coming up on a back marker, so how is this going to play? This will be the kind of thing Langdijk will be doing. He'll be trying to look forward at the traffic. He'll be looking at his track map, trying to look past Winkler to see where they're going to catch up with people. Where can he try and possibly spring a trap? And oh, there's a mistake.
This is race control. Car number 998 gets a 15-second time penalty for lap 13, turn 2 collision with car 199. Over.
So there we go. Ivo Mojilovic slapped with a 15-second penalty. And obviously we saw earlier on that was with car number 199, the Mercedes. And it looked like actually his brother was catching on him pretty quickly there. The other Mojilovic, Marko Mojilovic. Got my brain right, I can't remember. But he was definitely on the same part of the circuit, but definitely not battling for position yet, because he is in 24th, so unlapping himself. But Drake now on the back of Jonic. Oh, he's really, really close. He is pushing really hard. He tries to get around the outside towards the chicane. Can he do anything? He does. He gets it done. Really well done on the brakes. I mean, fair play to him. I mean, I think Jonic kind of almost gave him a little bit of space as well. Probably a good idea to, once you've outbraked into that chicane, neither of you want to get together. And just a quick update from Zikovic, just seeing him now in YouTube chat, saying that his wheel froze up for a second on the wrong part of the track, and he ended up pinning the car. Oh, and Winkler losing a position to Langdijk there. So fair play, Langdijk gets a position, and now Winkler under. Oh, he actually lets off the throttle and lets Doyle through as well. So yeah, obviously thinking to himself, he's now being outpaced. Again, he's still the leading AM driver. So he's not losing positions, but what he is losing is his buffer.
This is race control. Lap 13, turn 11 collision between cars 2468 and 764 under investigation. Over.
Right, so still on board with Winkler. He let Doyle go through that car number 85. And he's still got 3 pro drivers behind him. Oh! Is Winkler starting to maybe struggle with tyres? Oh, here we go. Bellato is just got past Akuza. I don't think we saw the actual overtake. Here we go. I'm going to see it now. Was it just a really bad run off that final turn by Akuza? I think it must have been. Because he just completely gave up the position. So unless there was something that we missed at some point, but Bellato through on Akuza now, and he's got a pair of back markers coming up. He's got both Mojilovic brothers, both on different laps, both back markers. So these two shouldn't be battling for position, so it should hopefully be a case of quite an easy pass for these two, but it is two cars very close to each other. The blue flags are waving furiously, so fingers crossed no one pushes their luck too much. But really good to see Mojalovic out there and still racing. Oh, dives back out of the way again. I don't think he realised that there was two cars passing him under blue flags there. Oh, and Mex actually as well. And who have we got here? We've got Vermeulen in 6th place, being chased by Mixic in 7th. Again, getting past one of those McLarens. Runs a little bit wide on the exit. That's going to lose a lot of speed for Mixic. Straight into turn 1. Here they go. Swing it into the left. Good chunk of inside curb. Nice chunk of exit curve running all the way out onto the green AstroTurf. Hard on the brakes. Slightly later apex than you would think here. And then roll on the throttle and try and carry as much speed through these long left-hand, right-hand turns. Have I been saying left-hand all evening? It's right-handed, isn't it? Oh, goodness gracious. Do apologise. I'm literally going to have to get an L tattooed on my hand so I remember. So, down towards the chicane. Vermeulen, good chunk there of curb. And to be fair, same with Mixic as well. I'm amazed he managed to carry that much curb in that Porsche. I've been saying it all night. I cannot believe how well the Porsche has taken the curbs. So second chicane. Oh, big load of time gained there by Mixic. He is now right on the back of that BMW. And a massive amount of sparks coming off the underside of the BMW as he took as much inside curb as possible. I think we might be able to see a move here. Nothing from the car number 996. He is all over the back. Who is this? This is... Oh, there's a very, very broken car in the background there. What on earth happened there? His car looks very, very damaged. Are we going to possibly see what happened? The front... Oh! Oh, that was one of our, I think, one of our leading Mercedes he may have had an incident with then. So car number 998. And, oh yeah, and, oh, does he, no, God, I thought he was going to get involved in another incident then. I thought that was going to be a double hit. But that car obviously really, really carrying some damage. I'm trying to work out what number that Mercedes was that he was involved with. I want to say it was quite near the front. It was Mex. So that was Mex running in 5th place now. Yeah, he was in front of Bellato de Kuzda, so he's lost position there. And if he's picked up damage, that's not what he's going to want, because Vermeulen and Mixic are two very, very quick drivers who are pushing forward as hard as possible at this moment. Oh, Mixic outbrakes himself. Goodness gracious, really good save. Did not go for the apex, decided to go out and away from the apex. It can be that can be the case. Sometimes you outbrake yourself and you're so desperate to make the corner that you just don't necessarily think the smartest decision and you end up going wide. Oh, and Vermeulen actually makes a mistake there though at the hairpin. Outbrakes himself and allows Mixic to get alongside him. Come on, Cameron. Oh, no, but he can't. That BMW thunders away from him. That banana, yes, it's a banana on the back of that BMW. Fantastic. A little banana on the back of the BMW. Fair play to Mex, managing to keep that damaged Mercedes rolling. As I'm trying to say earlier on, actually, was discussing this with someone earlier on, another sim racer, saying that the Mercedes, if they have more than 5-second damage to the front end of the car, they basically consider their race to be over unless they pit for damage. As the Mercedes is great for understeer anyway. You've really got to load the front tyres before it will turn in.
This is race control. Lap 13, turn 11 collision between cars 2468 and 764. Car number 24 gets a 10-second time penalty. Car number 764 gets a drive-through for causing a collision.
So more penalties rolling in. And are we now starting to see Mex starting to show some weakness here? Yes. Oh, that was very, very close. Vermeulen the inside, and so is Mixic as well. Mex is hemorrhaging positions now. Oh, that is not what he would have wanted. It's a real shame. He was having a fantastic race. There's an hour and 3 minutes left of the race to go. Is he going to pit at some point? Yeah, straight into the pits. There we go. So he got on the brakes. You see a little... nearly gives himself more damage going into the pits. It's not a normal place you brake. It's very easy to make a mistake there. So Mex into the pits. Just gone 9 PM in game. Just seeing it in the chat. Big shout outs for Jonic, who is... Oh, I think he... where is that Honda gone? Currently running in 16th place. That was it. That's it. Couldn't remember. But lights starting to come on the cars now. It's getting to that time of night where lights are definitely needed. Reasonably well illuminated circuit is Zolder. So we're about halfway through the race. Just want to give a quick shout out to our sponsors, SimRacing Pro. Massively appreciate that. Check them out in the description. There should be links to their products. So do feel free to check them out. We'd really appreciate it if you sent them some love. And just for anyone that has only just tuned in, maybe you're tuning in for the final hour, this is... I'll start that sentence again because that was absolutely atrocious. I apologise. That was absolutely awful speech. This is International Sim Drivers Association, or ISDA for short. This is their Spring Sprint Cup Series. Currently, this is one of the endurance races in this series. This is 2 hours of Zolder. So mandatory stops. They're doing a really good effort. This is back on board for our battle for third position. This started off as a battle for 6th, I believe, and then it turned into a battle for 4th, and now it's the battle for 3rd after Mex got together with a back marker. I'm trying to see where Mex is now. He had to pit, currently running in 15th place, but lots of cars with penalties in front of him to serve, so he should gain 1, 2, 3, 4 positions pretty instantaneously, and I'd be very, very surprised if he is not well within the top 10 by the end of the race. Well, I just realised we've got a couple of people stacked up for to have chats for the interviews and stuff, so we will drag some people in as long as that is okay with Thor. I don't see why that isn't. But Dan Minton, our race leader, into the pits. Actually, a whole bunch of the top 5 into the pits now. So, right, first of all, let's get... Who have we got? I don't know who joined this list first, so I'm going to drag in Zach quickly, just while we're around the midpoint. Can you hear me, Zach?
Yeah, hello. Good evening, guys.
Hello! You probably only hear my voice. Arthur hides away behind the cameras during the streams and doesn't like to say too much, but he is my man in the chair doing all the hard work while I just blabber away.
Okay.
Talk us through it so far.
Yeah, tonight is nightmare for me. I mean, I lost my VR headset since now 1 week. And
yeah.
I used to drive only with VR since 1 year and a half, only with VR. So this week I lost. I don't know what happened. It doesn't want to work anymore. So tonight I tried to race with the screen, unfortunately. So it's not. Trust me, it's not easy to back to the screen, and it's so dangerous for me and for the others.
Yeah. I was saying that I imagine the sort of spatial awareness that you lose from not being able to look to like left and right whenever you
Yeah.
want to. Obviously, you could map it to your steering wheel or a button box, but going from being in VR where you can snap your head to the left and right, I mean, yeah, it's got to be a huge sort of sensory shock. I mean, you quite often see it when real life racers try and do sim racing. They crash all the time simply because they are not used to being able to, having such limited view. So the fact that you managed to stick it out for as long as you did, to be fair, is a real good effort.
Exactly. I tried. If you see, I mean, in the starting, I brake too early just to not hit anybody because the braking zone, in my perspective, is not the same as the VR. So it's so difficult. And then I start to lose places, and I spun, hit the wall because there's a lot of. It's like first time I drive, you know. So I just I put the car in the pit because it's so dangerous to drive in these conditions. I mean, I hope in the next race I will try to give it again a shot. I mean, I will try to practice in the screen a lot to try to go back again. But still, it's not easy for me.
No, I think it was definitely, I think, as you were saying, it was definitely maybe the right decision to go for if you weren't comfortable racing, and like you said, it sort of dangerous for you, for yourself and other drivers. I think it was definitely a very respectful move to go for, to choose a retirement rather than possibly ruin your own race and someone else's race. So sort of hats off to you on that one.
And Zolder is so tight, there is no way to move right or left, and I need, I had blue flags, and the guys coming from the back. I felt like I will ruin someone else's race. As you said, it's better to retire and practice now, because the VR is not easy to be restored in a few days.
No, it's a pretty specialist kit, the VR headsets and stuff. And obviously then when you get it back, you've got to get yourself comfortable wearing it again and used to it all. So I know some people say the jump to wearing VR can be quite a shock. So I can imagine, going back and forth between the two is probably quite difficult. So real obviously sad to see you drop away from the grid, but obviously done for very good reasons. So I think that's fair play.
Anyway, I'm joining the race from your perspective as a commentator, and you are doing, by the way, the great job.
Thank you very much.
I hope I can back in the next race in better position. So
this is race control. Lap 23, turn 2 collision between cars 68 and 2. Car number 2 gets a 5-second time penalty for causing a collision. Over.
And more coming through from race control. The demonic voice that cuts through us all. But he loves his job, doesn't he? He definitely loves it.
He's doing a great job for us. Anyway, thank you for bringing back here to talk about my problems, and I hope to be back in better next race. Thank you.
No worries, mate. Thank you ever so much for joining us in the commentary booth, and hopefully everything works out a bit better for you next time round. Thank you ever so much for joining us.
Thank you, too. Good night. Bye.
Right, so we also now have Zakovic, who we can drag in. Let's pop him in. Can you hear me? Oh, that's possibly not good. I can't hear him yet. So just while we're waiting for a response from Zakovic, just to let you know that Shoot has inherited the race lead. I believe he hasn't pitted yet, and that's why Dan Minton's now running in second place. Winkler running in third also, I don't think, hasn't pitted yet either. And he still has a 10-second penalty. And we've okay. So Zakovic was going to join us in the booth. Oh, maybe he's back now. What happened there? He's just in the ready for interview box again. So I don't know whether he was having some technical difficulties on his end. If you want to let me know if you're all good to join us again, message me in the YouTube chat, Zakovic, and we'll go from there. or rather GT manager. Go from there. Right, so car number 24 we are on board with now, chasing after Drake again. These two were pretty close earlier on. The little Honda, obviously after a refresh set of tyres, is feeling pretty sprightly and good to go. But he has got a 10-second penalty, which is a real shame, because obviously he's then got to try and get past Drake by 10 seconds. Interesting to see. I wonder how much fuel Winkler put in that Bentley. How far is he going to be able to go? I mean, he's done nearly 68 minutes. Well, 67 minutes he's done so far, so just over an hour on one fuel tank. Those tyres have got to getting pretty tired by now. He obviously thinks he's pushing far hard enough to get away and not lose too many positions. Right, okie dokie. Zukovic is ready to chat. Let's drag him in again. Can you hear us? Hello?
Hello.
There we go. Now we can hear you. Fantastic. Right, talk us through it. How's it all been going for you?
Oh, well, very hard, man, very hard. Lambo is just start to drive on this track.
Yeah,
Very painful experience.
Yeah, we saw you go off earlier and take on a significant amount of damage, and obviously then with the wheel incident as well. That was not what you wanted. I mean, I almost thought you'd hit the car so badly that the steering was completely broken, which I have seen happen a few times where you go to steer and nothing happens.
Yes,
but you were saying it was actually it was a hardware issue on your end, was it?
yeah, it was the hardware issue, and when I crashed on the wrong, on the wrong part, or the hardest part of the track, I just got disconnected from 1 second from the wheel, and then I hit the wall, and I hit it so hard that all steering column was broken. I cannot steer it to the right anymore.
I say we saw the aftermath of the incident, but we only caught up with you actually when you went off at the hairpin. So by the time we cut back and we'd watched you grind all the way down the hill against the wall, it was a little bit too late for us to actually see your original incident. But if you said it was a hardware issue, I mean...
Yeah, it was a hardware issue and just a hard hit on the wall, and that totaled the car.
Yeah, I mean, these things happen, don't they? It's a real shame. I always put down sort of real-life issues like disconnects and hardware issues the same as you would in a real-life race. Put it on the lines of something like an engine failure, or, just you do have mechanical failures in real racing, so it is a real shame. But, understandably retired from the race after that one, because your car was pretty broken at that point.
Yeah, toasted. This one was totally broken.
But you didn't decide to come back and Jag this season, then? You decided to go for something different?
Yeah, just to try it. Just to try some different car, but I think I'll stick to the Jag for the next one.
You're going to go back to the Jag? Fair enough. I thought I didn't know you go for one of the new cars, but no, stick with the Jag. It's very well lucky.
Yeah, I'm missing the sound of the Jag.
Oh, it's glorious noise. It's a
it's an epic one.
So hopefully next season you can relive your domination that you did in Monza last season, which was a fantastic effort.
Yeah, thank you.
So thank you ever so much for joining us in the box. We'll cut back to covering the racing now, but thank you ever so much for joining us, and hopefully it all goes a bit better for you next round.
Okay, thank you. Bye-bye.
No worries. Cheers. So, on board with Bellato versus Dakuza, and after the pit stops, Dakuza back in front, so Bellato will probably be livid about this, that he's lost his position.
This is the race control incident between cars 886 and 998 on lap 36:39. Car number 998 gets a qualifying ban for next race.
Oof, so another penalty come through, and actually a qualifying ban. So that's not, again, what people are going to be wanting to hear. But it's been a little bit choppy this race, to say the least. Sort of quite a few people having some slight incidents. Bellato and D'Couza getting past black marker there. And still battling their way through. Oh, and who is that in the background? That is Shoot, I believe, car number 13. So who are we on board with? We are on board with it's Winkler. Okay. So Winkler running in second place, who hasn't pitted, I don't believe, versus Shoot, who definitely has pitted at this point. I'm sure he pitted quite early, actually. He's showing some great pace and caught up with the back of Winkler. Again, this is not technically a battle for position. So it'll be interesting to see if Winkler defend or not. I mean, I doubt he is, and those tyres must be so old on Winkler's car. I mean, I don't think he's pitted because he's still got that penalty. But he's gone out a really long time. Yeah, there we go, indicating right. He is going to be going for the pits this time round. So you'll see he can thunder on past the corner and then get on the brakes really late.
Lap 40, incident, turn 11, between cars 36 and 85 under investigation. Over.
Right, car 85 of Doyle and 36. I'm being incredibly blind. Why can I not see 36? Langdijk, that's the one. You know what? I looked past that number about 5 times, did not see it. So Langdijk currently running in 10th and Doyle down in 22nd place. Those two getting together, so they are now being investigated. But Bellato on the back of D'Couza again. He knows he can get past. He's done it once. And I think, it was a mistake from D'Couza that gave Bellato the position. But Bellato knows that he can just about outpace him and get past if he can stick with it in this latter half of the race. How are they going to be doing? Oh, Winkler into the pits at long last, so expect to see him tumble down the order. Hopefully going to hang on to his position. He'll be hoping to be out before P14 of Greening, his next AM driver, and I imagine he will be, but he has got the 10-second penalty. So is that going to be enough of a sting to possibly take him off of pole position? Hopefully not. I would really like to think that he can hold it together and do it. Again, Bellato versus D'Couza. Down into the final hairpin. Both of these guys just keeping it super clean and trying not to make too many mistakes. Bellato will be aware that this is where D'Couza has made mistakes before, though. That exit curb. Right, here we go. Winkler comes out in 9th place. Really good. Still got a nice 12th place? So it comes out in 12th, 13th place. Let the timing board sort itself out a moment. I will then let you know where he is. But that has possibly not worked as well as Winkler would have hoped. He stayed out quite a long time, obviously hoping to get the overcut on the pit stops, but I don't think it's gone as well as he'd hoped. He's now in 13th place with no one between him, and Greening, don't think is overly far behind. Oh no, 21 seconds between them, so that's plenty of time between them. So possibly Winkler can get stuck back in, and now we have car number 199 of Drake going after Langdijk. Moves to the right, moves to the left, showing that he is definitely the aggressor. And rolls on the throttle. The Aston Martin getting a slightly better exit there. Jonic chasing after the back of them as well, but with that 10-second penalty. But he can still by rights try and take the position on the road. Just having a quick look at the board. So yeah, look, Jonic with a 10-second penalty and Doyle with a 5-second penalty. That's the only penalties on the board at the moment. Oh, big understeer from Drake there. As we said before, the Mercedes can be a bit of a fat old girl when it comes to trying to throw her into a corner. If you don't quite load the tyres right before you try and turn, it won't necessarily do what you want it to do. Everyone's staying kind of in line at the moment, but I would say that Jonic is definitely starting to apply some pressure there to the back of this 199 Mercedes. Yeah, if people make mistakes, they are going to be in trouble. Oh, but they've got the leader, Dan Minton, coming up behind them. It appears like. So we're going to see blue flags are waving soon. Yeah, the blue flags are waving. And yes, if you look, there you go, in that rear view camera, you can see the front end of a very, very big Dan Minton trying to fight his way up through. Look, he got a little bit unsettled there out of that final chicane, actually. Lost a little bit of ground. I don't think it was a case of getting held up by the back markers there. I think he just maybe over-rotated ever so slightly on the exit, maybe got on the throttle a little bit too early and unsettled the car. Obviously, all the weight of the Bentley on the front end, so you get on the power too soon, you are going to get that back end sliding around. But Dan Minton with 14-second lead over car number 13 of Shoot. He really is a dominant force here this evening. Dan Minton is running in
car number 85 gets a stop and go 30 seconds for causing a collision with car 36, lap 40, turn 11.
And so there we go. Doyle, who we saw had a 5-second penalty, now has a stop-go penalty of 30 seconds. So things going bad to worse for him in regards to penalties. And Minton again catching up with the back of the number 24 Honda. I mean, it's almost the point of it might serve Janic well to jump out the way, let Minton pass, and yeah, he does do that, lovely. And if he can stick on the back of him, as he's got the pace, if he can stay with the back of him, he then may be able to take advantage of people moving out of the way under blue flags, and he might be able to gain a position again over Drake. Again, being a back marker doesn't always mean that you sort of, you know, are just sort of a hindrance for the people in the lead. You can use it to your advantage. You can try and play the traffic. Yeah, so Doyle in the pits, serving his stop-go, presumably. But currently, Drake still taking the fight to Langdyke. Oh, big power slide there. Managing to hold it together, though. Fair play. I thought he was going to lose it on the exit of that first chicane. And as you can see, it is now properly dark out on track. So, 10 minutes to 10 in-game time. And no, it's not your mind losing it. It's the time multiplier is up slightly on this race. But still dry, so it might be dark, but at least it is still dry for these guys. But less than half a second between them, and actually car number 199 of Drake really looking like the aggressor here. Can he do anything? He's super close. Can he get a decent run here? Not sure, but he is under blue flags. He's got Dan Minton, I think, behind him. I can understand that he's the one that... Oh! Nearly outbreaks himself right on the back of Langdyke there. Incredibly close. Putting absolutely boatloads of pressure. He goes to the inside. Massive dive. Really... Oh, just squeezes through. I think Langdyke just saw it at the last second, but that was a really, really brave move. It was a hell of a dive up the inside. Oh, car number 447 gone off. That's Tom Zetic in his Audi again. But there we go. Drake makes it through a big dive into turn 2. From quite a way back as well. I mean, fair play to him for pulling that one off. I am amazed that came together. Oh, got people ready for interviews. Just one moment. Who have we got? Okay, I literally just joined to see who was ready for an interview, and then they've run away again. I do apologise. I'm not always watching that box. I'm sometimes got other windows open on bits and pieces, so I do apologise. If you were waiting to come in for an interview, there is still space. So join back in. I'm watching the ready for interview box now. So do let me know. So I do apologise, Arthur was the one that let me know about that one. Okay, so right now, this is Dan Minton coming up behind Drake. We saw Drake had some really good pace, but I don't think he's quite got the same pace as Dan Minton. And there we go, moves wide on turn 1 to let him through. Probably a good shout. Blue flags were waving pretty furiously already by that point, so good idea to give them a bit of space so they can swing on through. So 37 minutes of the race left. Oh dear, and there we go. There was a little bit of a wobble by Drake. That was, wasn't it? That was, and he's lost 2 positions. He'll be devastated. He's been pushing really, really hard to try and get up the grid after his penalty, and he was inside the top 10, but now he's going to be 11, I think. I'm sure he's going to be 11 once the timing board sorts itself out. God, sometimes this game is lazy. Yes, there we go. Car number 199, that Mercedes, after losing a little bit of traction and sort of control after that first chicane, dropped down to 11th place. Jonic and Langdijk able to sneak on past again. The only thing that Drake will be thinking is at least that 10-second penalty means that he will inherit 1 position back from Jonic, unless Jonic can take the fight to Langdijk and pull away by 10 seconds. But judging by Drake's sort of actual pace, he should be able to close the gap up. And waiting to hear from race control, but he's gone silent.
The race control is here for an interview, actually, not for...
Hello! In that case, apologies, I was staying quiet because normally I start speaking and suddenly the booming voice of race control cuts through. So, you've had a busy one this evening, haven't you, race control?
This time I come in peace. No, actually, I remember busier races. So, we had, let me just check.
Oh, I think we just had 199 go off. I do apologise. I think 199 just lost control again. That would be Drake. Yeah, I think he's dropped in more positions. Or maybe not lost a position, but I'm sure he went off. So we're just watching a replay of that. He does recover. Just manages to hold on to his position. Very, very close. I do apologise, Mally, for cutting you off there. I just saw that in the background and couldn't let it go.
Yep, meanwhile I checked how it looks like on our report of live stewarding. Definitely less work than we had to do some previous races. So yeah, the grid is tightly packed, and yet I would say that a lot of drivers really understand the rules. And we have some clean racing on track. We have some fierce racing for sure. But still, we're not here to ruin the fun.
No, not at all. You're definitely here just to make sure people play fair. And I would say the way things have gone this evening, it's definitely done right. I was saying earlier on, just generally to the public, saying about how obviously we don't encourage people to wait after an incident, because regardless of if they wait, they're going to receive a penalty if they were the one at fault. Simply because, as you said to me before, if you ruin someone else's race just by waiting doesn't fix the issue. It just, you've still put them in the pit. So it's better to just let the penalties come through, and you guys can sort of judge it as you see fit. Also, Balato's got past Kuza again.
One more thing about that. Usually, drivers tend to slam brakes as soon as there is an incident, not caring about what's going on track. So it's a race. You still have to race. And by waiting for someone, you would drive dangerously slowly in some places. So it's definitely avoidable. We have the justice in our hands, and we put it through.
Well, it definitely adds another level of realism, which I do really like. The systems that you guys have put in place, like we're saying, obviously the live stewarding and the safety car, which I'm still yet to witness the safety car out on track. Apart from, I think actually it was at Monza. It did a celebratory lap at the end, so maybe we might see it out on track at the very end of this race, just for a quick blast, just to go and get the soot off of it a little bit. But it definitely
I'll
adds a layer.
forward your wishes.
It's nice to see it. It's nice just at the end of the race, just have a little drive-through penalty come through for Vermelin in 39th. Car number 39, 6th place. I'm going to presume, by the way, that nothing's been said by you guys, that is possibly for track limits.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's not yet. So quite easy to do. I'm surprised you haven't seen more of that this evening, if I'm brutally honest. Some of the lines that have been taken through the chicanes, I'm surprised I haven't seen more in-game penalties. But I was saying earlier on, obviously, the fact that you guys do the live stewarding adds such a more genuine, realistic simulation to everything, because the game quite often will miss incidents, whereas you guys, sort of, as in real life, can sort of put judgment upon it and then come in and give the penalties as and when is required, which is really good. It's really nice. There's nothing worse than getting in an incident early in the race. Someone, they don't have to touch you very much, but they spin you or something, and you have loads of damage, and the game doesn't punish them natively. The game's pretty bad at doing punishments for that kind of thing.
Not for track limits, though, definitely.
No, not for track limits. But that's true to real life now. They're very, very strict. Imola. Was it during first practice and qualifying? I'm not sure if you watched the first Imola race of this season, but they kept taking out a cone, and I think they were basically told that they were going to get a drive-through penalty every time they touched the cone. So after that, none of the drivers took out the cone anymore. So I think it's good that they're being a bit more strict with things, and I think we're going to see it at Spa 24 Hour as well in a couple of weeks' time, actually, now. That's going to be another thing to look out for. They're being very, very strict, which is good. It should be done, I think so. Otherwise, people just straight line all the corners, and it's just ridiculous at that point. But luckily, our guys are pretty good at that kind of stuff. We've only seen one drive-through penalty for that this evening, so that's a bonus.
Yep, one stop and go as well. But I think the part of the sport is to try and bend the rules, to be honest with you.
Oh yeah, you need. I think that's part of it. Maybe not quite so much as you see in other racing sports like F1 and things like that, where the rules are very, very flexible and seem to be bent all over the place. But I think you've got to push it to the limit, haven't you? You've got to be pushing against them fairly hard.
Yeah.
I do think you definitely see that. Oh, who is this? Miljelovic again, kind of 7. That's Marco, isn't it? He is. What happened there? I think we just.
That looks like a bad damage indeed.
Yeah, that's another big. It has not been his race this evening. He's picked up a lot of damage throughout the race. In fact,
his brother Ivo retired as well.
Yeah, I
would say this maybe involves some suspension damage. Maybe if we can get the onboard, we can see if he's trying to pull to the right, and you see the steering wheel.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's just. That's going to be surely a retire to the pit. He's not going to be able to. Oh, he's trying to drag it back.
Yeah.
To be fair, he is trying to drag it back. He's not that far away, I suppose, but he has got to cross that racing line. It's going to have to be a case of trying to choose his moment well. I think he's going for it now. Going to try and get across. Oh, can he do it? I don't know. Will the car turn left?
That's a good question.
Oh, maybe, but he's never going to make this next right-hander.
Oh, well, let's see.
Well, we've seen quite a few people in fully functioning cars struggle. Oh, use the curb to rotate the car then. Has he done it? Hats off for trying, but just manages to get out the way of another picking driver. I think that's Doyle that's just jumped in. Yeah, it is Doyle that's just come in to serve his 5-second penalty, I imagine. But
how will he drive into his pit box? This is what frightens me. There's no curbs to rely on there. There's no walls. There's nothing.
I think you ghost from this point anyway. So even if because he's well under the pit limit, obviously. If anyone else comes to the pit, hopefully it shouldn't affect them negatively. We see Zach's card still sat there. Fair play, obviously, retiring earlier on, but actually still staying in the game. He hasn't actually left the server, so sort of hats off to him for that, to be fair.
Yeah, indeed.
Does he get there? He does. Oh, he crashes into the pit, into his pit. I think he's just... What is going on here? He's just trying, I think. I'd be surprised if the car does get picked up. It does eventually gets picked up.
Not giving in. Now, I imagine how much of a damage that is. Probably like 2 minutes or something like that.
I would imagine so. And the rest probably, isn't it? It's a case of don't think the McLaren has fared overly well here this evening. Not the best. Oh, kind of a 447 again. Tom Zetic, saw yellow flags there. He's got himself going again. He has. Yeah, he's got himself going. He's lost another. Well, he's let another car pass, number 82. So, well, we're going to look now at Jonic and Dyke. This battle will be going on for this will be 9th place battle. Drake dropped back off of them. Don't know if you noticed it, but Drake having quite a few issues with rear end grip in this second stint. So I don't know whether he's maybe got his pressures wrong, and so maybe he's running a little bit low, or he's completely messed his tyres up and then.
Langendijk made a mistake, and now Jonic is in front.
Oh, I completely missed that while I was looking at the time.
Yeah, he was off in the gravel, in the sand trap.
I can't believe I missed it.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Luckily, no incident was recorded here, so I think it was fair and square. I was not kind of watching what happened.
I was looking at timing boards at that moment, so I actually missed it because the timing board took a little while to sort itself out. I was looking back at some other bits and pieces.
Oh yeah, he went wide in turn 1. He went into the gravel trap.
Yeah, easily done, and then it completely throws you off at turn 2, doesn't it? If you can make a mistake at turn 1, turn 2 is a complete throwaway. Bellato and D'Couza are still battling out for the final podium position. Someone who is not having to battle at all is Minton. I think he's 17 seconds ahead of Shoot in second place. Yeah, 17.5 seconds ahead. So, absolutely fantastic effort from him. He's really dominated this entire race. It was someone right at the very, very beginning. Actually managed to get up in front of him, didn't they? At the very beginning, that was.
I think it was Max at the start, right?
Yes, it was, wasn't it? Max managed to come up fighting all the way through from the very beginning, and then sort of suddenly lost early positions and haven't really been able to gain them back again. So, a little bit deep there from D'Couza. A little bit. He just outbraked himself slightly. And they've got blue flags, or is that possibly the blue flags for the guys in front of them for these guys?
Oh my goodness, Tim, you will not believe this. At the start of this race, I told you 4 races, 4 winners. And guess what? Dan Minton won 0 races this season. So if he can bring it home in 25 minutes, that's 5th winner in 5 races.
I mean, I'm having a quick look now. Yeah, he's had a 3rd, a 10th place, a 3rd, and then a 6th place last week at Donington. I'm trying to think what that's going to do to the championship as well. I think that is then going to put him up.
Possibly in the lead, because Niall Bullion is P10 currently. Matej Miksic, he is in P5, but don't forget that Dan Minton had a pole position as well, and this gives him another 3 points for the championship.
Yes, you get the bonus. I was looking again at championship points. I do apologise. We just showed Drake having some issues down in 11th place. I'm not sure if you saw that one. Sorry, Mally. I was trying to work out maths, which is never a good thing for me to do. But we just Drake down in 11th. I did say a moment ago, didn't I, that he seems to be having massive issues with rear end grip at the moment in the Mercedes. It can be a bit of a wily one, Mercedes. You can be brave and try and run very low traction control, or you can play it safe and you end up running it reasonably high to sort of maintain the grip. But if he set his tyres up wrong, that is going to be an unruly beast to try and control. Yeah, so running in 11th place now, and he'll probably be slightly disappointed with that. Dan Minton on board with him now. Over 18 seconds away from Shoot at this point, really, really showing dominance. 24 minutes of the race left to go. Can he hold on to it? I mean, at least he's got a bit of a buffer. He could almost back off slightly. I mean, if you look at the actual track map, Shoot's just entering the second chicane, while Minton goes through the hairpin. So that's a massive, massive distance on track away from anyone else.
And a lot of blue flagged cars in between.
Yeah, plenty of traffic to hold them up, and there's actually, yeah, Dan's got a massive clear space in front of him, so until he catches up with car number 96, who is car number 96, that's Wilson, an AM driver, so, you know, obviously not going to really cause him any issues. He's probably going to outpace him reasonably well, and I would hope that Wilson just sort of dips out of the way, as many of the AM drivers have this evening. I've just seen in the chat, is Dijan asking, you know, why is Zach at the end of the grid? Yeah, it was issues earlier on. His VR helmet is not working, or VR headset, sorry, is not working. So he was on a screen and decided to retire to the pits to avoid any incidents, as he wasn't used to the spatial awareness of just using a screen. Have you ever tried any of the VR headsets, Ali?
No, actually, I didn't manage to. I would really like to try, but the whole feedback I'm getting from friends is that it's just too undeveloped and too expensive to operate. One thing I know that VR is used for actively is drone filming. I have a friend who does it, who specifically bought VR headsets for that. But for gaming, I just hear about issues left and right, and it's a shame because I believe in it. I believe in VR. I believe in AR, like in real life, not only in gaming, not only in Sims. So I hope it swings around and that companies can actually make good progress on it.
Yeah, I definitely think VR. I definitely think, especially in the home, I think it is a case of it really just, as you said, it's just early, isn't it? It's still early in development, I suppose, realistically compared to other things. But yeah, I really hope it does keep pushing forward and become more affordable and sort of more user-friendly. AR, I can see really working in more of, what's the way to describe this? Like as an attraction or something like that, where you can be in a pre-built space like a warehouse that's just got boxes to make up physical items that then you can just reskin in game, which I think they've done at possibly previous E3s and things like that they've done, which I actually found out today. E3's gone now, there's no more E3. Little mistake from Dan Minton there, going through the second chicane. Got a little bit squirrely under braking, managed to control it, but definitely lost a fair bit of pace. If anything though, I would say that possibly Shoot has lost even more ground on him, because he was coming up towards the back of a pack of cars. So I'd like to see what the timing board said in just a moment.
It's surprising how Lexus lacks pace tonight.
Yeah, I wondered if maybe
I was expecting them to be even faster than Bentley.
Yeah, did they possibly get adjusted in the latest update? Lexus isn't a car that I overly drive, so I'm not entirely sure on how it's been affected. But I didn't know whether maybe in the the most recent BOP update, whether it's maybe just been tweaked a little bit. As I had heard, the Porsche is meant to be quite a dominant vehicle at the moment. Oh, there we go. Vermeulen moving up into 7th place over Bougon.
I'm watching how the Corsa is still trying to push into P3, but Berlotta is not giving in. And if you rewatch the last race we had at Donington, you would see that Berlotta is simply not giving up at all. And he parks it on the apex, and no matter what you try, you're not getting past Dennis Berlotta. So, yet again, he's demonstrating his great defense and how wide can he get.
Well, I think it's that whole thing of watching Bellato and Dacusa. I've especially noticed it this week. Obviously, my first time back in the booth this season. So thank you ever so much for having me back and letting me come back after all the technical issues I've had, and then moving house and not having any internet, and my PC being in a box at my mother-in-law's house for a long time. But yeah, watching them this evening, it really does seem that it's only when someone makes a mistake that actually either of them manage to make a pass. They're so evenly matched. I sort of said they sort of, almost like an accordion, they sort of get close and they spread back out, and then get close and spread back out. This like just so evenly matched And it was only when, again, a mistake has been made by someone either running a bit wide and bottoming out the car on a curb or missing their braking. That's the only time advantages have been taken. And it's beautiful to watch such consistent driving from both drivers. Drake down in 12th place now, I think, because he was in 11th, I thought. So Brooker got past him. We saw him struggling early, early in the second stint of this race. But yeah, he seems to be really, really struggling with pace now. Brooker gone on past. Or is this Drake on the offensive? I don't think it is. I don't think he's on the offensive here. Oh, mistake there from Brooker, though.
Yeah.
There's a speed exit in the chicane. This is what I was saying earlier on. It's tempting to take a massive chunk of curb because you can straight line it, but you can lose so much speed exiting simply because the car cannot put the traction down, especially if you've left the suspension a bit softer so you can run a bit more curb here. And then the issue is you try and absolutely tank it off and it just bounces the car. What is Arthur saying to me here?
Yeah. Also, don't forget that the track is losing grip. I actually didn't see this in a while. The track grip dropped from optimum to fast, and there's still the same amount of cars on track. There's still the same track temperature, which is, by the way, 9 degrees Celsius, so it's very cold. But yeah, Porsches over these curbs, they're okay-ish. I mean, better than McLarens or I saw Lexus as well fly off in qualifying over there. So
Yeah, we've seen quite a few.
It's these chicanes that you gain the time, and it's these that I think you should prioritize in your setups.
Yeah, because it definitely seems to be. Otherwise, everywhere else, like we're saying, it's quite a thin circuit. It's quite hard to sort of make any other kind of moves.
Definitely.
Sorry, just if you are watching the YouTube chat, please ignore the spam that is currently being posted. So, apologies if anyone's in the chat and is offended by that. It's sad part of YouTube at the moment is lots and lots of people doing this kind of thing. So we will move on from it, but please do not click anything, do not do anything. There we go. All the messages have been deleted. Fantastic.
Yeah.
So thank you ever so much. But yeah, sorry about that. Anyone that may have been offended in the chat by some of the content posted there.
Well, we're getting popular. We got discovered by a spam algorithm.
I mean, that's always the bonus, isn't it? I mean, it's just something, so it's all good. Oh, dearie me.
We should create our own spam bot to invade other racing leagues, live streams. Let's come to our live stream. Like, we have the best racing over here.
Just trying to get other people to come across. I think that's probably a very quick way to make some enemies, isn't it? Probably get an influx of people just giving you a boost of the Discord, but hopefully not. Oh, 199. He's in the pits, or is he yellow flags? And car number 4 that I'm showing as a yellow flag. 199. That was Drake. So he's in the pit. So what has happened there? Has he, as we said earlier on, has there been a setup mistake from him, or has he retired? I saw a yellow flag pop up, which I would presume means he teleported to the pit as opposed to drive. I thought I saw car number 4 parked up on a... Oh, here we go. On the camera, what's going on? Oh no, maybe he did drive in because he's on the part of the circuit where he should be able to just drive into the pit. He said, unless he completely...
he was stopped on the racing line, on the straight.
Oh. Oh, so I wonder if maybe he's run out of fuel or something then, possibly. Oh no! Oh, that's a big hit.
Yeah.
Yeah, not good. He manages to hold it together and avoid any incidents with anyone else. But yeah, I think he's just realised that that's pretty much game over for that car at the moment.
Yeah.
Bit of a shame to see such a fast driver retire, but Zolder has not been a friend to him this evening, sadly.
Yeah, maybe a few grains of rage quit over there.
I mean, possibly. It's always one of those things, isn't it? We always try and discourage
Brooker
people.
got spun in the last chicane.
I was actually still stuck on a replay at that time. Oh, here we go. Was that? I think that may have just been. Yeah, it was self-inflicted. I think though he just maybe got on the throttle a bit too quickly out the turn, didn't he? So yeah, I'm at the will of Arthur. I can only see what he shows me. Oh, I'm currently showing Brooker as a black screen on my stream. There we go. Now it's back. Now he's on circuit. Oh, he's that shoot, I think, coming up behind him, isn't he? So he'll be under blue flag orders, I presume.
I love the floodlights we have here as well. One of the rare tracks to actually feature them.
I know, it's lovely to have actually some. It makes it a lot easier working out who is who, especially when you're watching, trying to commentate in the dark at Spa is always a fun one because you're sort of like, I think that's somebody.
Yeah, there are some lights approaching the corner.
Yeah, there's a bit of light there somewhere. It's always the camera at the end of the Kemmel Straight. It's very low.
Yeah.
You're just like, well, there's a bunch of lights coming into the turn, and we'll see what order the lights leave the turn. So, although to be fair, speaking of lights that are thundering along, Dan Minton, I've just realised is over 20 seconds ahead of Shoot now. So as we said, Shoot just got past those back markers. And actually looks like Bellato and D'Acusa battling their way through the same pack themselves now. So this might be a chance for D'Acusa to maybe make a move. There's traffic in front.
Back markers,
yeah, this is always the case. Obviously, back markers will do their very best to make sure they don't hold up any racing. But if they're in battles of their own, they don't necessarily want to lose any positions. And it does mean that you're then down to just the racing line. You lose that overtaking line because that tends to be where the back marker's sitting. We actually saw something like that in a British GT the other day, where normally, obviously, the GT4s that run on track at the same time, they stick to the racing line. Just at the last moment, one of the GT4 cars moved to the left off the racing line, and it blocked one of the leading GT3 cars, that then got stuck and was passed by about 5 other GT3 cars because it couldn't get back out from behind it. So it's but sometimes just sticking to your line is better, you know. Oh, here we go. D'Acusa trying to look at
he has the drive. He has the drive.
Under braking, not sure. No, D'Acusa hangs on to it still. Oh, sorry, Bellato hangs on to it still. But obviously showing he is still absolutely desperate to get on the podium. Runs a little bit wide there though, going to lose a bit of speed on the exit. He's got Brooker coming up in front of them now as the next back marker to deal with.
So the Corsa are flying thin. Do you think there is a drop of sweat in this race for him?
I think both these lads have probably sat there looking like they've had a bucket of water thrown over their heads. They have been fighting it out for the best part of 2 hours, really, haven't they? I don't think they've really been more than a second apart at any point. These two have really been slugging it out. But to be fair, they've both kept it so respectful. How do we put this? A bit of a mistake there from D'Acusa. A bit too much inside curve, I think, and it spat him out. The issue can be sometimes you're sat behind someone and they're so equally matched to you that you can get super frustrated that you can't make the pass. And fair play to these guys for keeping sort of their heads cool for so long and not making any kinds of sort of mistakes on each other. They, both of them have maybe missed the odd braking zone, but I'm pretty sure it was earlier on. I can't remember. I think it might have been when Bellato was behind. He maybe out-braked slightly, but again, really good bit of driving. Didn't try and aim for the apex. He went to the outside. Didn't ruin anyone's race. He was just super clean and consistent. So, but it's 10 minutes left of the race. Do we think Bellato's going to take the position?
I don't know. Last race, on the last lap, he lost the position. So I think everything is possible here. And look how much D'Acusa gained in one sector. So it's, I believe, dirty air. Now we're going to see some fights through traffic. They're reaching 2 guys, and I think it might be a good opportunity for D'Acusa to try and punch a hole.
Really close under braking there. Goodness gracious, he really closed up on the back. I almost thought we were going to see that Lexus get rotated then, but we didn't. I mean, that was very, very close. Goodness gracious. I'm just having a quick look. What have I just lost here? Have I lost my details on my screen? There we go, they're back. That's better. So this is really the battle to watch to the end, I think. Everyone else is kind of... There's the odd battle going on, but this is definitely the hot battle to watch. I mean, these guys have been putting on a show for well over an hour now, if not an hour and a half, these two. Oh, D'Acusa getting a good exit there, though, wasn't he? So possibly going to get a run here. not quite the legs of the Lexus just being able to stretch a little bit longer.
And this just proves you how good BOP is. Because of the rear engine, you would say that Porsche would be here unbeatable. And that a car like a Lexus, which is huge front engine car, wouldn't stand a chance. And yet you see that there are two drivers closely matched and can't let go of each other. They even go out of track together.
Yeah, these two are unbelievable. It's as if it's one person racing both these cars, isn't it? Pretty much. It's ridiculous. It's like they're tethered together somehow. So see if Dacusa can do anything. Again, having a little look. We saw Bellato doing the same thing when he was behind. So he kept sticking his nose out to the left there, sort of maybe hoping for a little bit of to add the pressure. But I say I've been really, really impressed by the way that Dacusa's managed to take the curbs this evening. Just keep flying over them in the Porsche. I really expected it to be a lot more aggressive back to him as he was taking some of these curbs, but he's done really, really well.
But still, they're also reaching the scooter in P2. This could be a three-way fight in a few laps time, yeah.
Yeah, so only about 3 seconds between them, so that's not a lot, and these two are really pushing.
Yeah,
so,
that's one mistake, and this track is pretty hard.
Oh, I'm seeing we have... Who have we got waiting in the... We've got Drake waiting to come in for a
flew over the curb. This could be the chance.
This could very possibly be it. Oh, cameras, come on. No, not able to do it there. I should just work out which BMW is that. That's number. What BMW is it running behind them? I can't see the number. I'm being a bit blind, I think, because it's not a position. I don't think.
I hope.
But one of the BMWs is really gaining on him. I keep missing. It's Doyle. Oh, it's car number 85, running in 20th place.
Okay.
Pace-wise, really, really fast. I mean, and technically he can outlap himself, or unlap himself, sorry. But it is a bit risky when it's the battle for third place. You don't want to get too involved and cause incidents. I understand that he wants to gain positions, but I think it might be a case of maybe accept your fate a little bit, Doyle, and maybe just hang back a moment, because don't want to be holding anyone up, because as soon as you get past these boys, you are going to be under blue flags instantly, unless you can really stretch away from them. And as you said earlier on, they're gaining on second place of Shoot as well. So in case Carnival 199 Drake is listening, just barely about 6 minutes left of the race and this battle going on, it might be post-race that we end up having to talk as opposed to mid-race, just because
a
mistake from the Kuza. Oh dear.
Actually, from both of them, I think the Kuza was reacting to Berlato's mistake. Because Berlato flew over the curbs, and I think the Kuza just went on avoiding action.
That, Arthur? Can we possibly go back and see that? Maybe see it again? Maybe? I might have left it a little bit too late. I apologise for putting it on you suddenly. I know you'd love me, really.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's...
Also, take a look at the Lexus in front. You'll see that he makes a mistake and immediately the Porsche goes off.
Here they are coming down towards that chicane. They both had very equal runs here. Oh no, wait. Now they're coming towards the chicane. Sorry, I got me corners wrong. Sometimes it happens when we go back for a replay. I get a bit confused where we are.
Okay, now check the Lexus first. You'll see that he goes to cut in too much.
Oh, yeah, he does take a lot of curb. I think maybe Dacusa...
I think he was maybe following him.
Yeah, and again, I think maybe the Lexus can just take the curbs a little bit better than the Porsche can. There's still time, though. There's definitely still time on the clock. Anything could happen. I mean, we've seen a slight mistake there from Bellato, so it might happen again.
Yeah, but the Kuza is definitely. I think that he can regain this 1.9 seconds.
Yeah, definitely. He definitely has the pace to regain it. It just seems like when they then catch each other, they're not quite quick enough than each other to get past. It seems they both catch up with each other eventually, but once they're together, they don't... I don't know. I think maybe they're not defending too hard from each other and just going on outright pace. And it's just about giving enough of an advantage. Oh, I have noticed that car number 85 Doyle has given the position back to, well, not position, has moved out the way of Dakuda as to not hold him up. I think.
Brooker.
Yeah, Brooker moved out the way as well. So, like you were saying, over the space of a lap, he's back there immediately, isn't he? Really, he's.
Yeah.
What's the gap now? 1.2
seconds. Yeah. But I think that Berlato made a mistake because he lost out 3 or 4 tenths to Scooter in Sector 2 and half a second to Dakuza, so I think that was a mistake. Maybe he got too close to Brooker there.
Yeah, quite possibly. Sort of again, and you never entirely know. Apologies. You never entirely know how a back market is going to react. Obviously, we try and keep everyone on the same page to kind of, do a consistent thing, but you never know when someone, until they're in a position on track where they're going to go, because sometimes people move out of the way, some people don't, some people just let off the throttle but stay on the racing line. It can be a bit of a minefield getting past back markers, or in my experience, it can be a minefield being a back marker, as that's normally where I am. I'm usually being overtaken by the fast guys as I sort of potter around and have a battle near the back. But these guys are doing really well. It's been a great battle the whole way through.
And there we have it, Dakuza under a second now to Berlato.
So, the couple of laps left to go, I think they're going to maybe get... How many laps are going to get in? They'll probably get another 2 more. Yeah, they should get 2 more laps in, sort of, bar any incidents. It's possible. It's really possible, and I imagine Berlato is sweating buckets now at this point. He's managed to hold on to it. He probably thought, "Oh, thank God, I've had a little bit of breathing space," and Dakuza has immediately gobbled up that gap and is on the offensive again. Can he do anything though?
Even more back markers now.
Yeah, this is exactly what Berlato does not want, and I imagine Dakuza is licking his lips in excitement. Here we go, coming down towards the first chicane. That back marker moves right out of the way onto the grass, in fact.
Yep,
car number 7 is stopped with a yellow flag, and they're coming up on those guys soon. Oh, it's Mucelovic again!
Dakuza would have wanted it. Yeah, Dakuza lost it with the number 4 car. He was forced wide through the chicane.
That's not what he would have wanted at all, no.
Yeah.
Well, with 50 seconds left of the race, I don't think he's going to be able to regain that.
Berlato is 1.5 seconds away from Scooter.
Yeah, exactly what I was about to say. I just noticed the two of them were on the same screen at the same time, which is always a good sign that the gap's closing up. And yeah, they're coming through that final chicane now. And they are right next to each other. This is the final lap for Dan Minton, so keeping an eye on him at the moment. He's just coming towards the end of Sector 1, down towards the first chicane. But just over a second between Berlato and Shoot now. I think that's going to be who we'll have to cut to in a moment, I think. I think Dan Minton's pretty much got this one in the bag.
Yeah.
Oh, God, and... Mucelovic. I mean, fair play for battling on, but I mean...
But the race to forget, indeed.
Yeah, and he's still got another lap to go, even when he crosses the line in a moment. That's not the end of the race, unless he's going to let Minton come through. Maybe he's just trying to go slow enough to let Minton come through and finish it. Yeah, he's got to be, and then he can at least just cross the line. And he's made it to the end. I mean, fair play to him.
Yeah, but this is kind of unfair to the driver's school battle here. They now have a yellow flag.
Yeah, it is a bit not ideal, is it? I mean, realistically, he probably should have gone into the pit and then he could have finished in the pit. But here comes Dan Minton, lights flashing and weaving, comes across the line. A brilliant race by him.
Such a dominant performance, yeah.
Yeah, that was a really, really strong effort by him. And like you said,
time, I would say, right? Pole position, led every lap.
Yeah, I think he has led every lap. I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, he only lost one. He only lost first position for maybe a couple of corners, and then he pretty quickly got it back, didn't he? I think it was Mex, or maybe I'm sure it was Mex that at the very beginning managed to take some. But there you go, Dakusa coming across the line in fourth. Sorry, I was going through some different bits at the same time as the guys were coming across the line. So Dan Minton pole, Shoot second, Bellato third, Dakusa fourth after a brilliant battle, Mixic in fifth. Just waiting to see the rest of the grid as it rolls in. And there you go, got some big donuts from Dan Minton out on track. Always weird with the endurance races how things get split up. How ninth place has already finished, but sixth hasn't.
Yeah.
always ends up getting a bit confusing. Here we go, next coming across the line in sixth, massive flash of the lights. Again, he had some incidents earlier on. Bullion coming across the line now in seventh. Yeah, and Vermeulen right behind him in eighth. Ninth was Jonic. Although he has got a 10-second penalty, so that may change. He might lose one position, I think, actually, post-race. Yeah, he's lost one position. So Langdijk actually ends up taking ninth place.
And there's the safety car going for a...
Arthur's already pulled away from it. He's already pulled away. I'm not even... Come on, Arthur, you got to let us see it. Oh, it won't let me because it only says drive now. Hang on, here we go. Safety car. Where is he? Who is there? Oh, there it is. There it is. Our little yellow bumblebee. It waited so patiently all race.
Yeah, if we can sell it, we'll say low mileage on it, definitely.
Yeah, definitely get some nice low mileage on it. I mean, questionable hard miles, but definitely low mileage. Has it been out this season? Because obviously, where I haven't had internet, I haven't been able to keep up with every single race.
Yeah, I think even twice. Once on Paul Ricard, with the box start, and then on the Imola race. I think it was back-to-back 2 races in a row that the safety car was called out.
So it would have been quite excited about that, but I don't imagine...
On Kyalami, which was flooded, we got no safety car. We barely had any incidents. So
it's quite a nice wide track though, and I kind of, even though even when it is wet,
but it was flooded.
Yeah, I still think it kind of works. I don't know why it kind of works.
Yeah.
Right, it is post-race now, and I know that Drake has been waiting quite a long time while
I'm going to leave you to it.
So fantastic! Thank you ever so much for joining me in the booth, Mally, and I'm no doubt we will talk after I finish with the interviews and everything. So thank you ever so much for coming in and lending a hand in the final half an hour while my voice was starting to wane ever so slightly.
My voice isn't much better.
Oh, you always sound smooth, like that deep, dominating voice that we get from Race Control.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Right.
I did not expect this. I did not see this coming.
What can I say? I'm a fan. Right, I'm gonna boot you out now before we get too involved, and I'll grab Drake in. So thank you ever so much for joining us, mate.
Thank you. See you.
Cheers. Drake, thank you ever so much for waiting all that time. So with apologies, in that last 5 minutes of the race, we had third place battling it out within sort of 0.2 of a second of each other for most of the time, so couldn't afford to cut away, but thank you for joining.
No worries at all. Thanks for having me.
Got to ask, in that second stint, was there a setup issue? Because it looked like you were struggling with rear end grip quite a lot.
The setup was fine. The conditions were all over the place, really. I think when I was changing my pressures before my pit stop, I think I put my left front up by about 0.8 higher than everything else that I'd put up, just because it was just dropping so much. And then the second stint was the exact same story. The left front was so down. Rear end was fine, but unfortunately I gained quite a lot of damage quite early on, and was suffering with that throughout the race. And then I gained a little bit more with about 30 minutes to go, and the rear was completely off. I couldn't even go 80% of my previous speed through some corners.
Yeah, so it did really, it sort of seemed to really show on corner exit. We could sort of steer a couple of times. I mean, you had some great saves, some really really impressive saves. But yeah, it didn't look like it it didn't go your way this evening. We'll say that. We'll just say it didn't seem to go your way.
I'm disappointed that I even had to deal with anything like I did. I mean, I've held my tongue, but I've seen a consistent theme with one car in particular with me, and every single time I've been absolutely hard done by, to put it nicely, by a car in particular, and I've been penalised on the outset. Do you know what I mean when I say I got Schumachered into the pit wall?
As a non-F1 fan, I'm sorry, I actually don't.
Okay, it means when basically someone's mid-overtake on you and you keep pushing them out, and then actually lead them to hit the wall because you keep squeezing them while they're mid-overtake.
Right,
I got that quite early on from a Porsche and was carrying damage all race as a result. And yeah, I feel quite hard done by a drive-through as well, seeing as 2 races ago the exact same thing happened but in reverse to me, and I got a drive-through in that case as well. But after that, honestly, I kind of put it to bed, and I actually started to enjoy myself. I made my way up from 20th to 10th, I want to say, before the first round of pit stops. But then it just started to go wrong. The damage started to keep up with me. I actually ended up having to avoid the leader when he was overlapping. He lapped me, and then went very slow through the chicane, and I had to avoid him and slammed over it and took even more damage. So,
okay, so kind of.
What turned into gaining on the guys ahead by 0.5 a lap turned into getting dropped by about 1.5 per lap with about 2 minutes to go.
Yeah, so I know the Mercedes does really suffer with front end damage. Once you start having any kind of front end damage, it can be a real mess. Kind of in that car, it does drop off pretty quickly. It's an understeering sort of beast anyway. It's my normal car that I race in, and I know that if I get front end damage, I definitely suffer. So I'm sorry that things haven't gone your way this evening. I said, as sort of anyone that does race with us, if you are unsatisfied with the appeal, if you want to get in touch with Mally, and you can obviously sort of discuss it further, I think obviously that would be something that I would do if you are unsatisfied, sort of thing. They are a decent bunch of guys, so hopefully, you may be able to at least maybe get some more information on what's happened, sort of thing. I mean, it might be worthwhile. If you've put it to bed and you're not worried, then absolutely fine. But if you want to look into it a bit further or whatever, maybe that'd be the place to have a go. Sort of see what happens.
The problem is with 2 of the incidents that it's the sort of thing where appealing will do nothing because I got the penalty anyway. And it's not like the other person should have got a penalty, it's just a racing incident. Although 2 of them, with the Porsche in particular, absolutely, they should have been at least stop-go 30 seconds for at least one, if not both of the incidents. So I would be chasing that up.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, sadly, it's one of those ones of it just didn't go your way, like you said, obviously with incidents, and then obviously with the changing temp and like conditions, because I think the time was 10 times advanced to sort of push into the evening, I think, or there was some advancement on time, I think, so that may have obviously given slightly rapidly changing conditions. But I mean, some of the slides I saw you catch in the Mercedes, for fair play, because that thing's a big old boat once it starts going sideways.
I didn't hear it if the chief said it, but when I barreled over the curbs avoiding first place after lapping him, I have a suspicion I got a slow puncture on my left front because it dropped very quickly. And a lot of my oversteer issues started then, but I'll look into that. But great pace from everyone overall. The front guys were insanely fast, and I think the track going from optimum to fast caught quite a lot of people out.
Yeah, so that wasn't actually something I was aware of. It was only when Mally joined us in that sort of like last quarter of the race. He came in. He's looking from a different view than I am, and he said that it dropped too fast. And yeah, I imagine that probably did make a huge difference, because you think in a race it's going to just hang on and stay. What's called the whole way through, going to stay optimum the whole way through. As it wasn't as if there was a sudden lack of cars on the track. It was simply just the temperature drop just pulled it back down. And it does make a big old difference to your lap times. Sometimes ACC isn't the best at sort of doing the switch over between fast and optimum. It can be quite a flick of a switch. Suddenly the track's different.
There was, I think, just a lap, or maybe 2 laps before my incident, which I think I got a puncture. Like, there was a very marked drop. Like, one lap I'm doing, low 29s, and then the next I'm barely able to keep it in the 29s, and everyone else around me was, didn't go quicker or slower. They all kind of had the same thing. So it was very sudden, to say the least.
Yeah, it can be quite a quick drop off and a change in the game. I think it's the same with like wet weather conditions. As you know, as it flicks between different types of wet, it can make quite the difference quite quickly. Well, thank you ever so much for joining me in the commentary booth, Drake. Sorry, I don't know. I always said Josh for some reason. I have no idea why.
I just
apologise. I was looking at like, no, I didn't even. Oh my god, Drake and Josh. That is a blast from the past. Sorry about that. But I mean, I don't know. When, yeah, you are 10th overall in the championship at the moment, but I finished at the points, I think. So
I DNF'd. I don't know if I will, to be honest.
Oh, okay, no, you DNF'd, right? Okay, yeah, sorry. Where there's so many cars to look at all the time after a little while.
It's been either DNFs or podiums or high points finishes. That's what.
Yeah, what did you had? You had a DNF. It's coming up second round as a disqualification for whatever reason that was.
That was effectively a DNF, but I tried to keep in it. Yeah.
Okay, and then a 9th and a 2nd place. So the 2nd place was really good, but yeah, have on your way. But you know, it might go better next season. You'll be amazed at how different the luck can be, sort of season to season. Sometimes it just doesn't go your way. For an entire season, it can feel hard work.
Without pointing fingers, I think the racing conduct and racecraft could improve from a few individuals. And if the race stewards, I don't know how many of them there are, but if there's like maybe 1 or 2 more stewards, would really help with the consistency. And yeah, with that and keeping on track, I could probably do a lot better next season. But for now, I'm happy with my pace. I just keep getting caught out by quite unfortunate situations.
Yeah. Well, thank you ever so much for joining us this evening, mate. We shall see you next week at... Oh my god, where are we racing next week? I had this in my mind.
Brands Hatch?
Yes, yeah, it's Suzuka next time round, because I think Brands Hatch is the season ender. So yeah, I think it is Suzuka next time round. So that's a challenging circuit. So that'll be... at least it's wider. It's wider than here anyway, so it's a little bit easier to make overtakes. But yeah, thank you ever so much for joining us, Drake, and we shall see you on the track next week.
Thank you very much. Have a good one.
Cheers. Right, well, none of the race winners or anyone have tried to join me in the interview booth, so we'll probably call it a day at this point. Thank you ever so much for joining us. Thank you again to our sponsors, SimRacing Pro. Again, jump in the oh my god, my brain is just completely broken. Go in the description and there should be links there, and there also should be links for the Discord if you are interested in joining ISDA for racing next season. Yeah, come and join us. Really good racing, as we said, real life race stewarding, and we have the safety car that occasionally gets to come out. Sometimes you get to see the little bumblebee. So thank you ever so much for joining us this evening. It's been an absolute pleasure being back again.